other news, I do want to give you a little bit of a follow-up, and by little, I mean a giant follow-up, to the Deme situation. So, for all of you that have missed the Deme situation, you know, TLDR here, Deme she made a post about how she wanted to create a boundary for not safe for work art, talking specifically about porn. Chibi Reviews called her a hypocrite. She clapped back at him with a very unnecessary response, which fanned the flames of not only Chibi Reviews, but a bunch of other people. And thus, they went on to accuse her of having sex on stream, cucking her boyfriend. Is BPD, so she's a horrible, manipulative person. I mean, all kinds of horrible allegations, right? So, none of these allegations are true, by the way, chat. I mean, she does have BPD, right? But that doesn't mean she's a manipulative liar about everything. She didn't have sex on stream. She's not cucking her boyfriend. We looked at all this stuff. None of it is true, right? They're just throwing shit to see what sticks. But we are going to be going back to, of course, the main focus of this whole debacle, which was Deme versus Chibi Reviews. So let's talk about what Deme said. And she actually did make a formal apology to Chibi Reviews. So tell me what you think about this apology, chat. Here you go. Let's read it.
I was ready to genuinely take this to the ground because of the idea that why should I ever feel bad being rude to someone who's a piece of shit? After some reflection, the thought occurred to me, do I really want to go as low as him though? And the answer was no. I said what I said because I personally think there is no scenario that a friend group chooses the side of a fiancé that cheats. I can't even fathom friends siding with a cheater.
Sure.
However, would I have brought it up if I knew he was suicidal because of it? No. I admitted it in the previous tweets, so why didn't I apologize? Because he's this and that and blah, but I thought about it and that kinda ideology is quite harmful. I knew it was wrong and I admitted that twice, but I didn't apologize, so after reflection, I am sorry. I'm sorry for bringing up a memory that made someone suicidal. It was a low blow even if I didn't know, regardless of whether he was intentionally being a piece of shit. I don't want to stoop to his level. I rather be better and learn from my mistakes.
So overall, chat, she does address the main issue, which was again that she, said, I'm sorry for bringing up a memory that made someone suicidal. I will say that this is a little backhanded, you know what I mean? I don't want to stoop to this level. Obviously, she has a lot of problems with, Chibi Reviews. I mean, I guess when I first read this, I read it next to, I think it was Aya. No, I didn't read this next to Aya. No, Aya and I talked about this, but, we were talking about it. I was like, you know what? It's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's better than nothing. Is it a great apology? No. Is it, like, a bad apology? No. It's just, like, mid. It's a midway apology, right? Yeah, I think it's just a midway apology. I don't think it's a perfect apology. It's rare because she's apologizing, but aggressively apologizing by still calling me a POS. Feel like a part isn't needed. I do agree with that, right? But I think that she wants to make it very clear that, I think she wants to make her apology very clear that, like, hey, like, this dude is, like, I do not agree with him at all in anything that he does. I think the way he holds himself is really bad. Obviously, the way that he engaged in bad faith against me is not okay. But I will apologize for bringing this part up, even if it was a low blow, and I didn't know regardless. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's mid. It's a mid apology to me, you know? Coming under the insult to being backhanded, but it's fine, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Like, to me, something could have been worded better. I'm just going to say it's mid. It's a midway apology. So, let me ask you, chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think this went over with the internet? With 10 being the absolute best. Like, everybody said, oh my god, good job, Deme. High five, we forgive you. How well do you think this went? Or to negative 69. Yeah, Daniel's right. It's about a negative 69. No, I would say, honestly, probably about a 4 out of 10. Parent 4chan pointing out, don't want to stoop to his level, proceeds to do so for a week straight, for issuing a half-ass apology. But further insults, only apologize because half the internet won't stop telling you how wrong you were. Why even do this? Kept saying I'm justified in insulting him because I disagree with him and his views. Think you were going to talk about this on stream only to farm views for your VOD channel. Even doubling down, even saying I'm an asshole and I don't care. Why Britain to give an apology at this point? No one's buying this. This is damage control. I don't know if she's damage controlling, maybe. I mean, I do think that her apology is genuine, especially when she says, you know, I did reflect. I'm sorry for bringing up this memory, even though I didn't know. Whether it's genuine or not, I don't think any of us are ever going to really know, right? I don't know. Like, I'll be honest. I feel like it's kind of like, in my perception, it's 60-40. I think it's more 60% of people are like, yeah, so Chibi fucked up by not, by assuming the worst and calling her a hypocrite when she wasn't, right? I would say that's the 60%. I don't know. Victor says, go to therapy or church because Lord have mercy. Isu says, props to you for making an apology. Chibi ain't the best. It's extremely rare to see an apology in this community without projecting. Grubbing says, are you in Japan? Go get some Wagyu and get drunk off some sake. Slam says, even if they disregard your apology or go to the low road, like you probably will know, their action people will acknowledge the steps you took and the fact you chose to apologize in the end. You seem to do, even if they keep taking shots at you, proud of you. I will say this, chat. One thing I want to point out, just the act of at least apologizing here, I think does mean a lot. At least for me, like, it kind of gives me like just a tad bit more respect for her. You know what I mean? Like, just like a point or two, right? I'm not saying like it changed my opinion of Deme like hugely, right? Because I think that stuff that Deme said in the past was not okay. But what I will say in this one, I'm like, you know, I mean, at least you had the balls to apologize, you know? All right, cool. I will at least, I will at least say that, right? Everybody who was siding with her wouldn't have wanted her to say sorry, right? But she did, right? And I think that that was, you know, a good step. So as you guys know, Chibi did say that he would, if she apologized and was genuine, you know, he would accept. Well, Chibi says, after days of doubling down, Deme has finally decided to apologize to me at the end of her latest tweet. Before she did that ever, she made sure to become a piece of shit, along with a few other things despite saying she won't stoop low. Progress, I guess. So, like, I want to make this very clear, chat, because this is going to be a major point of contention that I want to put out there right now, guys. So, two things can exist at the same time, right? You can have, Deme can think that you're a piece of shit and also apologize to you. These can be two separate boxes, right? They don't have to coexist or be mutually exclusive to each other. This is entirely just not true. It's not. He can still not like you and think you're a horrible person, but apologize to you. And I think this is going to be a lot of main argument we're going to see from Chibi, or at least, like, in my perception, that's kind of where he's coming from, but we'll take a look here. So, now Chibi decides to call out Deme for the apology here. And we need to read this because, again, it's another point where I feel like we're trying to make stuff stick that may or may not be true. So let's take a look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Devil's Advocate, he did specify a sincere apology. So here, I'll play double Devil's Advocate really quickly here, Blue Brawler. What is meant by sincere apology? Because here's the thing. At any point in time, I could do this to you. Actually, chat, somebody apologized to me about something totally unrelated really quickly. I need an example. Yeah, somebody apologized to me about something. That's something Mujin never did for powder. I mean, like, I don't know why Mujin made those claims about powder. I'm still kind of sitting and waiting on that. I'm sorry for calling you short. Oh, Daniel. I'm gonna use Daniels, right? Let's use Daniels for a second. I'm sorry for calling you short. A lot of people are calling me short. So when somebody says sincere apology, what do they mean by that? Well, it's subjective. It's subjective, right? I'm sorry for calling you short. Oh, well, Daniel, you didn't say that. I'm sorry for calling you short and hurting your feelings and that you're actually tall and reaffirming that I'm actually not short, so it's not genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I can start the goalpost right here and I can move it any which way I want to. You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sincere apology is so subjective, so... Yeah, that one powder comment was out of nowhere, dude. I'm still wondering about that. But, like, I don't know, dude. I don't have a very nice opinion about powder, so I've said what I've had to say about powder. Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way. Exactly. Oh, well, you know, Daniel, it wasn't real because you didn't acknowledge my feelings. And also, you didn't make a Google Docie and take screenshots of everything. Um, so yeah, I moved the goalpost again. So I feel like, I don't know, that's a subjective kind of term, right? And for somebody to be like, oh, well, you know, they didn't give Chibi a sincere apology, right? Well, I guess that's kind of in the eye of the beholder, to be fair, right? Oh, come on, your short isn't the same as a piece of shit. Lord, my point on that I'm giving you, in particular, is that, a sincere apology can mean something different to everybody, right? That's what I'm saying. But what I will also say, Lord, which I just pointed out a second ago, is saying somebody is a piece of shit and giving them an apology are two separate things that are not mutually exclusive to each other. You can still not like somebody, call them a piece of shit, but still apologize for what you said. Those are not mutually exclusive things. Yeah, she still thinks he doesn't like him, but she's sorry she brought up the trauma. And that's it. If you think those things are mutually exclusive, I heavily, venomously disagree with that. I think that lacks a lot of nuance. I guess as the person who's being apologized to is something the person who accepted it, sure. Exactly. I think the thing is Chibi said he would accept it. It was sincere, so it's kind of like he's putting something out there like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna accept it, right? Like I'm cool with it, but is he actually? You know what I mean, chat? I think I'm just kind of like, I don't know about that. I mean, ultimately, again, it is up to him if he wants to accept it or not. Yeah. He is given that right to accept it or not. But what I will say also is that he needs to apologize for his part as well. He needs to apologize for his part as well that he fucked up on, which we have not seen, which I'm very disappointed in. Because again, like for Deme, she apologized. I brought this up. I shouldn't have done that. But Chibi also needs to apologize for the fact that he took the first swipe at her, right? Which, that first swipe was incorrect. People sit there and say, oh, well, you know, she was clearly a hypocrite and stuff like that. But, like, if Chibi wasn't sure, and Deme did go on to explain about this in the comments, and it had a little, you know, back and forth as well, why didn't he just ask for clarification? You know? I feel like that's where he really messed up. So, would you say Chibi initially was giving constructive criticism? No. It wasn't constructive criticism because it immediately went to calling her a hypocrite, right? That's not constructive criticism. Apologizing right or wrong is the right thing to do. That doesn't mean you mind bend yourself into changing your world beliefs. Exactly. So let's talk about another big point of contention here, chat. Which is what Chibi Reviews had to say. Despite VTuber Deme offering him an apology that called me a piece of shit, he will never stoop so low. See, here's the thing, right? Chibi's got to understand that you can apologize for something, and that doesn't change how you feel about somebody. Deme went into posting this on her official Discord, saying the apology was never intended for me. However, prior to the Discord messages, he privately DM'd me on Twitter apologizing, so this means a private apology to me. And DM wasn't sincere at all, which is why I'm showing it. So, Chibi is alleging here that this apology was not sincere. So let's look at the evidence, right? Let's decide. Deme says, so I don't really give a shit about randoms that I don't even recognize the names of, so don't worry about me. Maybe if I took a picture right in front of it talking about this, it'd be cooler. I'm seeing a lot of messages here in Discord. Please, it was never for them. Talking about the apology. It would never have been any of my viewers look at any of their profiles and realize that I angered the group of people. That I would have banned in my chat anyway, literally. I did this apology not only for me, but my community to be able to move on. First, I think I can generally think someone else is a piece of shit while realizing I'm in the wrong for doing something too. I'm seeing a lot of messages here in Discord. Again, here's a just kind of reposted, right? Of course, also, this is where she messaged Chibi saying, Chibi, genuinely my bad for making you remember something that traumatized you. I had no idea when I made that first message. So at 10:45, she sent this. And of course, this was at like 8:15, so before. So I'm pretty sure that she's talking about the haters, the other viewers, right? She's not talking about Chibi in particular. So he does assert here that Deme went on to posting this official Discord saying apology was never intended for me, but I don't think that was the case, right? I think that she's talking about all of the hateful people. Well, what are your thoughts about this, though? Yeah, how do y'all feel about it? Right, exactly. She's making the posts for people that, you know, hate her or are unfounded or whatever, right? Yeah, what's your thoughts on this, chat? Because, like, again, for me, like, I look at it and I'm like, okay, so looking at this, right, I think that with the context clues, it looks like she's like, hey, you know, I put out this apology, but I'm not apologizing to all of the hater people, right? I'm apologizing for me, for Chibi, and everybody else, right? So I think that, again, this is just misrepresented. That's my opinion. What do y'all think? And guys, your opinion is really, really important to me about all this. So please, please, please tell me how you feel about it. I really am curious to know what your thoughts are. Yeah, I don't know. I hope he's not doing this intentionally. I really, really hope that's not the case, but I don't know, dude. I just see this kind of stuff and I'm like, I think you misread this, dude. I think you jumped to conclusions again, just like the first post that you made, and now we're seeing a repeat. And in my eyes, this does not make you look good because you're either acting in bad faith or you're coming to conclusions. I don't know. I just end up agreeing with you on everything. I mean, don't agree with me on everything, right? I wouldn't hold it past him. I hope that's not the case, right? But of course, GB puts us out there, and now, you know, everything kind of blows up even more now because people are like, oh, you know, Deme's not giving a sincere apology, etc., etc. Of course, Ostrov kind of comments on this, saying, I don't want to stoop his level. He stooped way lower than he ever did first. What was the whole point of all this? I'd be really sorry, just say sorry. This isn't a great apology. But it's not for me to accept nor accept. I mean, like, I will agree it's not a great apology, but that's entirely untrue. Yeah, Strop, that's entirely untrue. You stooped way lower than he ever did first. He called Deme a hypocrite without actually, like, bothering to check what she meant by not safe for work, when she clearly defined it. So, yeah, that's definitely not the case. Yeah, like, he started it, right? And I think that majority of people that look at this situation go, yeah, you know, he started it, right? Maybe I'm wrong in that, but, you know, through my perception, that's what I've kind of gathered. The low blow was lower than what he started with, right? Wait, hold on. To be honest, the low blow was lower than what he started with. I don't know. I don't know about that. I would say they're equal. In a way. Makes her above its level. I don't know. So, like, there's a lot of nuance in that, right? There's a lot of nuance within that. So, let's talk about it a second. So, insulting somebody in their personal life and things that they've gone through that where they don't want to be alive, it's really beyond fucked up. You know what I mean? Oh, calling me a piece of shit is the same level as calling her a hypocrite. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Here's what I would say, right? So Strop says you stoop way lower than he ever did. What was the point of all this? I mean, like, he started it, right? You gotta understand that it's a clapback. I think what I would say is Deme's response was overall worse than what Chibi started with, but there's different, like, levels of things that you have to consider, right? So, for instance, like, Chibi called her a hypocrite, and brought a lot of attention to something that didn't need her, right? So, in a lot of ways, that's really bad in its own regard, right? But also insulting him personally is really bad in its own bucket, right? So, but she realized and apologized, right? So, like, I guess we're looking, like, apples to apples. Yeah, we could, I would say that what she said to Chibi was more messed up than what Chibi started with. But, like, you also have to remember that this isn't a justification, right? Like, you stooped way lower than he ever did first. What was the point of all this? Well, you also need to remember that he started it, right? Like, he's the one that went out there and started this whole debacle, right? What was the point of all this? Well, why are we not asking Chibi that, right? You stooped way lower than he ever did. Well, why are we talking about the level of who stooped to what level, right? Why did Chibi start it? That's what we need to focus on, right? We're talking and sitting here like, oh, well, they stooped to this or they stooped to that. And, you know, oh, apples to apples. Well, literally, why did Chibi start it to begin with? I don't think it makes him worse, but it makes him, doesn't make him innocent, right? Exactly, like, just to kind of back up on things that we've talked about before. Chibi should not have started in the first place. Deme should not have responded the way that she wanted to. You want an apples to apples comparison, chat? What Deme said was worse than what Chibi initially said, but some people are going to feel about that differently, right? In my opinion, the way that Deme responded was worse than what Chibi started with, but regardless of stooping to levels, this and that, why did Chibi start it to begin with? That's the main point. And I seem to be edging on the insane rumors, right? Exactly. So, like, why are we leaning into rumors and stuff or perpetuating this when this is just easily a, hey, read this. This is a reading comprehension moment, right? And guess what? If you don't know, ask. There's nothing stopping you from DMing her and asking her, you know?
Chibi literally started it by assuming something that could have easily been explainable if he had asked. Deme did defend herself, although it probably wasn't a smart call to do with the equivalent of a shotgun blast.
Gabe, I have a question. I'm sorry, I really want to bring up this comment because I think this is, I'm gonna try to not get, super heated, but just because my initial reaction to this is very, venomous, but I wanna make sure that hopefully when I read this, I'm not reading this wrong. I really, really hope I'm not reading this wrong, but this is, if I'm reading this right, I'm gonna be a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. Let me pull this up. Yeah, let me see if I made this a little bit easier for y'all to read. Gabe says, agree or disagree. Let me put this somewhere where we can see this actually. Gabe says, agree or disagree with them. I just love the fact that this whole thing had the opposite effect that Deme expected. The amount of art that came out of this is hilarious. How was it funny? How was it funny? Wait a second, Gabe. How is it funny that she does not want porn drawn of her and people drew porn of her? How is that funny? Nah, chill out, guys. Let me hear. I mean, maybe that's not what they meant. So I'm gonna try to assume the best, right? I'm gonna try to assume the best in Gabe here for a moment. But if she said that she's not comfortable with a porn-related art, and then on top of that, people start doing it, right? Which obviously had the inverse effect of what she wanted. I don't find that funny. That's still breaking her boundaries, right? So I'm gonna allow you a chance to explain really quick. Yeah, I mean, I'll let them explain. Maybe they meant something different. Maybe they mistyped or something like that. Again, I read this and I'm like, what? So I'm gonna let them explain. Let them explain. Cause I don't find this funny at all, right? Like this is something where it's like you put a boundary in place and people did this and you don't want that or you're comfortable with it. Yes, you can't stop people. Trust me, I get that, right? You can never stop people on the internet, but it doesn't make it funny. The way Chibi has been responding feels to me like it doesn't want to be any kind of fault, right? And I think also like the way that I look at it too is he's very much like, you have to admit that I'm not a piece of shit and apologize to me, but like it can be it can be like, hey, I don't think you're a good person. I don't like you, but also I apologize to you. Yes, but Gabe, I understand you can't control the internet. Agree. But you haven't answered my question, so I'm going to circle back to it. How is it funny that people are drawing art of her that she's not comfortable with? Yeah, like breaking boundaries is hilarious, right? I understand you can't control the internet, but I'm going to circle back to my question again. How is it funny that they are drawing art of her that she's not comfortable with? I'm gonna take a sip of my monster really quick. Yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of my monster really quick. Monster reposting what? Are you talking about the art that she reposted? That wasn't not safe for work. Yeah, that was not her definition of not safe for work. I'm gonna move on here. So, but anyway, he feels like he's gonna come over and play to wanting self-gratification rather than actually making peace, but I might be overthinking it. I mean, to be fair, she said she didn't want to see it or being sent to her, but I guess he likely is seeing the drama. This made it worse if anything. She didn't say anything. Yeah, I feel like she shouldn't have said anything, right? But also, like, pushing people's boundaries is just like, that's not funny, you know? Like, that sucks. The inverse, the inverse of what happened sucks, you know? Yo, what's up, Rick Claw? How are you? You mentioned not safe for work. She also mentioned porn as well. Gamma Jamma, really quick. Have you been here the past couple days? I'm gonna guess not, right? So that post that she made, by her own definition and explanation, is not safe for work. That she reposted does not fall under not safe for work. Not safe for work is a subjective term. What did she correct herself on? But yeah, she specifically said porn, not spicy art or things like that, right? Yeah, she clarified her statement.
It's a form of sexual harassment.
Yeah, it's just a Streisand effect, but I don't think it's funny when somebody says, I don't want this thing, and then it keeps happening, right? Like, that sucks, right? It's like, you can't stop the internet, and I understand that people are gonna do it, but I don't think it's something that you should, like, laugh about or celebrate, right? It's just like, that's not cool. You know, like, yeah, you can't stop the internet, but why are we celebrating that? Blue Brawler, we're gonna try and watch that today, actually. Not safe for work is more broad. Porn is nudity. Yeah, I mean, again, for her own definition of what she meant, she said specifically, like, porn, she's okay with spicy art, right? Chibi, jumped to a conclusion, called her a hypocrite, which already explained what she meant by that anyway, so... Yeah, Chibi definitely made a mistake on that one. All prawn is not safe for work, but not all not safe for work is prawn. That's a great... I love that. I love that. Well, I find it's not cool. While I find it's not cool, I find it funny that you think it's gonna stop happening at one time. Right. Like, yeah, it's definitely not gonna stop it happening, right? But, like, it's just not... Like, why would you celebrate that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I take issue with that. If somebody says, here's my boundary, and it's a very reasonable boundary, right? Killa, I will go and look at the anytime after stream unless it's related to what we're talking about right now. But yeah, you're very entitled to draw your own boundary. I think it's wrong when somebody says, oh, I'm just going to come in here and do whatever I want and not respect that boundary, right? Like, you don't have to be happy about it because the internet's going to do what the internet does, right? But celebrating that fact that somebody's doing that and creating artwork as something where you said, hey, I'm not comfortable with that, I think that's wrong. Yeah, I believe that, Bang. Also, what's up? Internet is not a good excuse to ignore consent. It just makes you look like a dick. Right. Yeah, exactly, Red Club. So when Gabe said this, right, they're like, oh, agree or disagree. You know, I just love the fact that this whole thing is the opposite effect that Deme expected. The amount of art that came out of this is hilarious. Like, I don't think that's funny. I really don't think that that's a funny thing. It's like, that sucks, actually. Like, especially for her, like, if, for instance, Gabe, let me ask you, if you have a personal boundary, let's say that you, I don't know, you don't want me to talk about something on stream, right? and then you put that out there and I start purposely doing that, how was that funny, you know? It's not. Like, have basic respect for people. People have no emotional maturity. I think violating people's boundaries to be good comedy. It's wrong, sure, but Gabe didn't defend them. I think you just meant it's fully in hindsight. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I asked them to explain themselves. Because that's what it's like, hey, so, like, what do you mean by this, dude? Like, I hope your intention is good. Because I'm like, what is this, dude? I mean, I get it. Sometimes messages get lost in translation, but I really wish you would have explained that. Yeah, he then proceeded to not explain himself, so I think we have to throw the goodwill out the window. I was just surprised because the subreddits I saw, a number of the ones that are normally fairly decent. I feel like Reddit's been actually kind of chill about this whole Deme thing. In my opinion, at least the subreddits I've seen. Imagine if it goes to a point where she stops streaming. Nah, she's not gonna stop streaming, right? She's gonna keep going, but I don't know. Like, if somebody... Deme's initial post about boundaries was completely respectful, right? And I think you should respect that. That's all I'm saying, chat. That's all I'm saying about it. So anyway, Chibi did, talk about this apology and everything like that in a recent video. So we're going to look at that. But, yeah, we looked at this as well, what she said, you stooped lower. I just don't know why we're talking about who stooped lower and this and that. Like, Chibi started it, so why is Chibi not accountable for starting it, right? Chibi, was Chibi called Deme hypocritical when she wasn't, but nobody's really addressing that part of it, right? And I feel like that's such a huge miss. Chibi should apologize for that part, right? If he truly thinks that he did nothing wrong, he literally did not read the entirety of her post, and there's like a back and forth. Let me go find it really quick. Hold on. Yeah, let me see if I can pull this up really quick. You know, she says, like, I just feel like there's so many other content creators who'd love to have artists draw them in a way that's not wasted effort toward me. I like to make this clear. I'm completely okay with sexy stuff. Because I love sexy hot women, I just don't like porn. Like, I mean, it's very clear, right? I think that they had a back and forth a little bit. I think it was in Mujin's videos, so we'll talk about that. Yeah, but like, it's okay to admit fault. Like, if you fucked up one part, that's okay, dude. Like, that's all right. Yeah, it's okay to fuck up. Like, just be like, dude, I drew blood first. I fucked that up. I didn't read that. I would have a lot more respect for that kind of person, right? Anyway, let's go take a look here at what Chibi said about the apology, chat. And this is whether or not he's gonna, actually accept it, right? So, let's take a look.
Apologized to me earlier this morning, and this was the response that I received that was basically addressed to me for the entire world to be able to see. And I will cover this and read this all in just a second if I accept or do not accept this apology, but I would like to remind everybody on how we got here to begin with.
I kind of feel like we're at a point where it's like, well, accept or don't accept this apology. Like, and yes, she did a low blow, and you're entirely allowed to. Yes, it'll be on my news channel. You're allowed to accept or not accept that apology. I 100% Chibi, I agree with that. She took a low blow at you. You were allowed to have an issue with that and accept the apology that way, whether or not. But also, you got to apologize for your end as well, dude. Like, where was that?
It all starts with this initial post from Deme, where she basically says that she does not want NSFW content of her VTubing model created. At first glance, that's fine. That's a fine ask. However, within 2 to 3 hours after she made this, she retweets NSFW of her character model.
But see, I feel like we're in a fundamental misunderstanding right now. She clearly says, this is what she thinks of it. I love sexy hot women, I just don't like porn. Like, this is clearly, like, defined. And I don't know if it's just lack of comprehension, but she straight up said, this is what I think of not safe for work porn. We've already said multiple times that not safe for work porn is a very broad and subjective term. So why are you like, oh, this is what it was. This is what it was. It was not safe for work. Well, the thing is it's subjective, right? Everybody has a different thought about it. So why don't you just ask her what she meant about it, you know?
Obviously, me and so many others started calling her out about how this is just basically performative, it's hypocritical, and I basically...
But it's not. It's not. And you said so many others, but... I mean, maybe it's because you're the larger creator, right? But you said it, and that's what started pushing the boulder down the hill. You know, like, you started building the snowball, it started rolling downhill. So I think after you said something, yes, other people started getting into it, but I don't feel like... I feel like it's wrong, right? Like, this isn't not safe for work to Deme, right? It's a subjective term. Yes, you can Google not safe for work. I get that. And you can take it in the literal definition. But if you talk to people and ask them what they think of not safe for work, they're all going to give you different definitions. I just did this experiment the other day.
Virtue signaling. And instead of Deme responding this to clarify, basically the stance that, why, she did this, or, like, why, it's not hypocritical, she instantly responds with a personal attack against me saying, wait, oh my god, aren't you the guy whose fiance literally cheated on you and your whole friend group sided with her, LMFAO? And instead...
So here's what I want to say really quick. But let me back this up a few seconds. I want you to listen to what Chibi says right here, okay? Just very, very carefully listen to this, because it's so important. It's so important.
About how this is just basically performative, it's hypocritical, and I basically said virtue signaling. And instead of Deme responding this to clarify, basically the stance that, why, she did this, or, like, why, it's not hypocritical.
Instead, he says, instead of responding about why this wasn't hypocritical, etc., 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 right? That is such a disingenuous framing of the situation. Number one, she did. Number two, I will agree with you, Chibi, that she could have had a better response. Absolutely. But number three, and most importantly, you were the one that called her hypocritical. You started it, right? You did not, at the beginning of this mess, go to her and ask for clarification. You made an assumption and then are upset that she did not respond back to you in a way to clarify, right? Because you already made something, that a post that you didn't bother to clarify. That is the issue. You're upset that you said it right here. Listen again, chat.
Critical. And I basically said virtue signaling. And instead of Deme responding this to clarify,
Instead of Deme responding to clarify, Chibi, if that was the case, why did you not bother to clarify instead of making your post? Literally, your argument that you're using against Deme is you didn't use it, you didn't practice it yourself. You have to clarify as well, dude. And I feel like all of this, like, follow-up is just like, it's unnecessary, because I feel like he's like milking it or being like a victim, and I'm like, dude, like, but where is your acknowledgement of the part that you messed up on? Am I crazy, chat? Like, am I fucking nuts?
Basically the stance that, why, she did this, or, like, why, it's not hypocritical, she instantly responds with a personal attack against me saying, wait, oh my god, aren't you the guy whose fiance literally cheated on you and your whole friend group sided with her, LMFAO? And instead of basically answering or anything or try to explain herself about being a hypocrite and me basically saying a virtue signaler, she responds with a personal attack that comes at me. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty story of it. I feel like everybody is already aware of it at this point of what happened to me. The point of the matter is that instead of basically just trying to, explain what's going on, she used a massive personal attack against me.
But why does she have to explain something to you when you didn't bother to ask for clarification yourself? Like, that makes no sense, dude. I'm at a real loss with this, chat. I'm at a real loss. I'm really at a loss here, because everything he's arguing, it's like, yeah, but that was your first step. But when you do that, like, why did you do that yourself? You should have asked her. You jumped to this conclusion.
Which, she obviously miscalculated. I didn't expect as well, but she started getting called out massively, to the point to where pretty much all—
Which, she does deserve to get called out for this. Absolutely. Chibi, I will tell you, I was talking to your face right now, Chibi. I will tell you 100%, he should not have said that to you. That was fucked up. I think there's a reasonable expectation that when you call somebody a hypocrite, they're gonna clap back, right? But this was unnecessary, and I will give you that all day, Chibi. What she said, he was unnecessary, but also don't act like her clapping back is some kind of surprise, right? The level of the clap back was completely unnecessary, but I mean, you called her a hypocrite, dude. You called her a hypocrite for something you didn't bother to clarify.
All of 1,600 comments are negative against her, and it's honestly insane just how many people legitimately are just straight up upset with her coming at me like this. I personally did not expect a lot of support. About 95 to 98% of the time, individuals like this, they get away with it. So I'm not gonna lie, it's actually pretty shocking just to see the overwhelming amount of people that were on my side. But regardless, ever since this, there was spiral after spiral.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had her block me after this and all that. And then after this entire section, she basically clarified that, she doesn't care about me or my mental health, but she cares about men's mental health. Basically, people, digging into different things about her, pretty much saying that you're kind of a hypocrite. So basically, you don't care about men's mental health if it's someone you dislike. There's a lot of things. Basically, people just started digging up a lot of stuff, kind of pointing out.
But you cannot like somebody and still care about their mental health. Like, they were telling me a hypocrite for advocating men's mental health and not caring for the content creation. Chibi, I feel like both can coexist. Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. You don't have to like somebody, but you can still care about men's mental health. You know what I mean? Yeah, you do not have to care about people that you don't like. Nobody can force you to do that, but you can still advocate for men's mental health, right? Like, do I think her comment was unnecessary? Absolutely.
About just how hypocritical she is, on top of her personally attacking me, and eventually it spiraled to the point to where people started finding live streams of her for Outer Wilds, I believe, to where she was getting, stuff like that, like allegations that was potentially happening within a live stream, over an hour.
I'm really glad at least he said allegations and he's not like perpetuating it, because we know it's not true, right?
And a diabolical individual, by the way, decided to do timestamps for the entire thing of different comments on when stuff happens, and it's crazy. And so basically, for the last few days to almost a week, a lot of people have pretty much been, more or less uncovering the hypocrisy that Deme has been doing. For instance, it all started with me calling her a virtue signaler and her basically trying to retweet NSFW of her model, despite saying she doesn't want it, but
I mean, hypocrite is the right word, right? He's used it multiple times in his thing, but also in his post, yes, he did talk about virtue signaling, but he's implying she's a hypocrite, right? That's the main problem, right? I really haven't seen my motives. The first reaction on her announcement just now was unexpected. Wait, really? Actually? Oh my goodness. What's up, Aurora? How are you, sweetheart?
Even prior to this, she literally has these streams where she's making very suggestive and adult-like sounds. And, let's just go on a limb here and humor the fact of what some people are saying, that, Deme, wasn't getting, stuff like that in the live stream. Okay. Right. The sounds, the way it is presented is very suggestive. Now, I'm gonna say, I don't care.
But suggestive is not her definition of not safe for work. You know what I mean? Like, guys, would you say that my overall content is, like, not safe for work? I have suggestive stuff, but just because it's suggestive doesn't mean that it's immediately not safe for work, right? You have to remember that it's a broad term. Everybody views it differently, right? I would say this to you, Chibi. If you went and asked, like, on Twitter, if you did a poll, what do you consider not safe for work, right? You would get a very wide percentage of answers. And even if, let's say, 1% disagrees with you, right? And they say, oh, I think not safe for work is porn and nothing suggestive. That still means right there, nonetheless, if one person in the world thinks that it means what you don't think it means, it's subjective at that point, right? It means something different to everybody. As I was saying, it's not a concrete, like, term. You know what I mean?
If a VTuber or anyone wants to do that. What I am saying is that she had the audacity to do stuff like that within a stream, even if nothing was happening, and then goes on to do stuff like this. It's just like,
these are totally separate things, though, right? Like, sitting there and saying, oh, yeah, well, she's suggestive on stream, but then she doesn't want porn of her model. That's two completely separate, like, diabolically far wide, the amount of the universe space in between on how different those are. Completely separate.
You know what you're doing. Yeah, it feels very performative, it feels very hypocritical, and virtue signaling, which is what I said. So,
but it's not.
Anyways, none of this stuff would have happened.
Yeah, but it's not like that. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not. Not yet, Devin.
If she would have responded to me in a civilized manner, and either on
If she would have responded to me in a civilized manner, but why didn't you respond to her in a civilized manner? You called her a virtue signaler, and you didn't even bother to ask, dude. Bro, it's like, I understand what you wanted, Chibi, I get it, but your tweet did not open up some kind of like, I don't know, like, intellectual debate that you guys are gonna have, right? Like, you have to understand you called her a virtue signaler, so of course she's gonna get like upset about it. Like, what did you expect, dude? I hate how she responded to you, by the way. I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't want anybody to use that shit on me. Like, I don't care about what they said to Chibi, because knowing Chibi's past, yeah, what Deme said was fucked up. But dude, like, you need to understand that instead of her responding, you know, in a mature way, well, you didn't respond to her in a mature way either. You need to apologize. You need to apologize to her for that. That's the issue in my eyes, right? Deme's getting hers. Trust me, you know, them coming down on her about her response, totally justified, right? But all this shit flinging of other accusations and stuff is entirely untrue.
honestly just calling me stupid. If she would have just called me stupid, it would have probably ended there. I might have said, oh, you're stupid too, or blocked her, or whatever, and that would have been the end of it. But obviously, because of the double down, the triple down, the quadruple down, we got eventually to the point to where she had to make an apology to me, because overall, all over social media, everybody on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, Reddit as well, everybody was pretty much against her. And like I said, shocking.
I don't know about say everybody, or I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Who really cares? It doesn't matter.
Very shocking. I did not expect that much support on my side, but okay. Anyways, at long last, we get to today, and she issues this statement, and let's read it. I was ready to genuinely take this to the ground.
Oh, we already read this, so I'm gonna fast forward.
So why didn't I apologize? Because he's this and that and that. And the answer was no. Some reflection, the thought occurred to me. I was ready to genuinely take this to the ground because of the idea that why should I occur to me? Do I really want to go as low as him though? And the answer was no. I said what I said up. If I knew he was suicidal because of it, no. I admitted it in the previous tweet, so why didn't I apologize? Because he's this and that and blah. But I didn't apologize. It was a low blow.
We've already seen the apology.
And learn from my mistakes. So, before I give my answer, there's a few things I'm just going to put and explain on screen here. First off, we gotta talk about her previous post and what she's even talking about. Her previous tweet when she basically said she didn't want to apologize to me. So this is the tweet she was talking about, basically where she was basically labeling me a pedo, she was labeling me a rapist, and all sorts of other accusations, false accusations that is Kiwi Farm's speech. Basically the same.
So what I want to say here, chat, is this that she co-retweeted this is like a fake screenshot, which she did take down, right? So we talked about this in greater detail. So, she did go on to say, I had no idea that Chibi tried to take his own life. And I don't wish that upon anybody's system before. I don't care about the guy in general. I'm not going to apologize to a guy who dated a teen when he's pushing 30s, came to his fans out of thousands of dollars of a lawsuit that never happened. I never in my life ever heard of people siding with a cheating future wife in this scenario. I don't know about the age thing. I don't know if that's true. I've never seen anything about that. That's like proof, but she did include this part and she did remove it because she realized it was disinformation, right? So she did correct it, and I think that's the most one of the bigger things to point out here.
That she made, she edited, which you probably have seen Rev already cover this, and I covered it in a previous video.
Yeah, I mean, teen also does refer to, yeah, literally people in their teens, right? So,
but she edited to remove the fake tweet but kept everything the same.
Yes, I have,
and
Blue
her
Brawler.
apology, so to speak, people like to say, is that I had to update the tweet since I didn't want to spread misinformation. My bad on that. But she's still spreading misinformation.
I'm not gonna apologize to a guy who dated a teen when he's pushing 30. I guess I don't know about that part, right? I can't comment on it. I have seen where somebody said he was like almost 30 and he was dating somebody in like their teens, but I don't know how true that is, right? Gamed his fans out $1,000 lawsuit never happened. I mean, that one's up on the table though, isn't it? I mean, didn't he say that he was going to use it for a lawsuit and then he ended up using it for personal funds? I guess some people might view that as a scam. I don't know.
she's still technically calling me a pedo. She's still calling me a rapist in this entire section, which is outright insane. Like,
I don't know if that's the case. That might be a bit of a stretch, GB, but I would need to look deeper into this other stuff before I, like, super comment on that,
it's actually ridiculous.
I'll leave that up on the shelf.
Anyways, after this post, she went to her Discord, and this is what she said in her public Discord after that post I just showed you. I think people misunderstand my post or want to change it to something they want to believe in. I want to know y'all's thoughts. People are telling me I'm a hypocrite for advocating men's health, but not caring for this content creator's chibis. I feel like both can coexist. LMFAO. Care of people's mental health. Okay, after the convo with the Discord, what I did was unnecessary, and honestly, I didn't even do it for clout. I literally just got baited from seeing his name. Really? You didn't do this for clout. Here's the image. She posted this as well on her official Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Chibi's kind of fair right here, right? Like, I mean, he's,
and you've seen probably right.
I don't think it's like the biggest gotcha in the world, but I mean, like, let's be real, like, yeah, Chibi's got a point there, you know.
Comments on this, but that link she posted to a Twitch stream that supposedly was to address.
Yeah, I don't know why she did this, but also like you going after her too. Let's not pretend that wasn't like for some type of clout, right? Like you did it too, Chibi. Let's be real, like.
Her 24/7 VOD stream that is just reruns of her content.
And this thing where she did this,
she literally condemned farming and basically trying to content farm and engagement farm, but she turns around and does that hours later, which basically implies that she being a hypocrite, not just with like the whole NSFW thing, but just different things, men's mental health to basically engagement farming, and then also basically the stuff with NSFW. We have now multiple examples.
But again, it's not multiple examples. I think that you're taking it so personally, right? Because she doesn't like you, and thinks that you're controversial and stuff like that. Yeah, she can still advocate and support something and not like you in particular. I think it's become so personal to him. He's having a hard time like being like, oh, well, you believe in this, but you don't like me? Oh, well, that can't be true.
And that's not even
and that's just not the case.
With the Twitch stream. So this is what she said. She basically said she doesn't care about my mental health. She doesn't care about me or anything like that. And she heard about the situation, but she doesn't care. That's what she said in these Discord messages. And then we had this, which was the follow-up.
Well, but she doesn't, right? Like, dude, here's the thing, right? Not everybody's gonna like you, right? And it's fine. It's totally fine. Not everybody's gonna like you, but you gotta understand that people are still allowed to have their opinion of you regardless, right? People cannot like me for anything. They'd be like, oh my god, I hate her eye color, right? Not gonna watch you anymore. That's allowable.
To the apology. So, after the apology came out, obviously, many, not myself, but many said that her apology was not an apology. It was a non-apology apology. I even saw people saying that it is, how do you make an apology worse than Logan Paul? That is insane. And so,
I'm not gonna pretend her apology was like the best. Right, it was a mid-apology, but I mean, at least it was something, right?
She took the Discord to start commenting on the situation after the non-apology apology that she made, and this is what she more or less had to say. I'm seeing a lot of messages here in the Discord, please. It was never for them. They would have never been any of my viewers. Look at any of their profiles and realize I angered the group of people that would have banned in my chat anyway.
Yeah, literally. I mean, that's fair, leader.
I did this apology.
Look, I will never defend her response because it was just, yeah, it was not good, dude. I will never defend her response.
Not only for me, but for my community to be able to move on. I personally think I could genuinely think someone else is a piece of shit while realizing I'm in the wrong for doing something too.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Then, this is her private DM to me. Now, I want you to know the time frame here on when this private DM she sent to me by.
Yeah, he has a real problem with that, right? That she still thinks he's a piece of shit, but is apologizing for what she did. He really has a problem with that.
At this point in time, I was blocked. I've been blocked for days. I covered that already, showcased that, and she unblocked me. I believe I'm still unblocked at the time. She probably blocked me after I uploaded this video. But basically, she unblocked me, and she sent me this private DM. Now, I wasn't going to show this or anything like that, because it's a private DM. And, you know, this is not really let's be honest, this is not really an apology here, but it's better than the big public statement she made. And I was just going to be like, you know what, screw it, I don't care anymore. But when I saw these Discord messages, and her basically saying that,
I mean, she did reach out to you at least, personally, and apologize. She could have made a public post and not reach out. Her making the effort to reach out, I think it matters,
she did not make the apology for them, quote-unquote, me and everybody else on the internet, and basically said everybody on the internet that's calling her a hypocrite was never her fans to begin with, even though her own fans are calling her out as well. I think really just goes to
well, I don't think that's the case, right? I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but she said, like, I'm seeing a lot of messages here in Discord. It was never for them. They never would have been any of my viewers. I think she's just talking broadly, right?
Show that everything she said in the private DM to me was not
Yeah,
actually
I think it's
apology.
just misreading
And she's
this
trying
part.
to play both sides. She's trying to apologize, but also keep her fan base happy to where it doesn't look like she's, quote-unquote, bending the knee. And, look,
I don't think that's the case, though.
let's finally get into the whole, do I accept?
So this is what we're watching the video for, right? Like, I think some of his arguments are obviously poor, right? But the point of showing this is, yeah, the DM apology was definitely better than the public post, and at least she reached out. The act of reaching out, I think, is a big deal. But obviously, we're here to know, does he accept this apology, right? That's the big deal, right? I mean, I feel like I've reiterated myself multiple times about stuff I've said for multiple days now, but here we go.
This as an apology. So, I'm a very forgiving person. I am. Like, I do believe in second chances. I believe that if someone apologized to me, I would accept it. I've done it before. There's quite a few people that have outright hated me and have slandered me. They apologize to me, and I let bygones be bygones. It's happened.
And to be fair, guys, Chibi has had a very, a storied history of stuff where people have done fucked up stuff to him. And I think that you need to understand, whether you like Chibi Reviews or not, right? I think you need to understand that people have done some absolutely fucking diabolical stuff to this guy. Like, so about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't remember it was, I remember I mentioned to you guys that, no, it's more recent than that. I think it was about a week ago. I told you guys I didn't really know a lot about Chibi, right? So I decided to look into it. You know, when I was at the gym one day, I was listening to some videos and kind of watching some stuff, and I went back home and was looking at some things, and I'm like, I genuinely feel bad for Chibi. Some of the stuff he's went through, it was horrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the stuff they did to this guy was unacceptable. Unacceptable. What I will say, though, is that while those bad things happen to you, you still have to engage in good faith in everything going forward. It's not an excuse forever, right? But what he's saying is, I have forgiven people that have done things to me before. And it is true, he has. So, you know, to back his point, this is entirely true.
And that was it. We never brought it up again. So,
which is true.
However, this situation is very troublesome for me. And the reason for that is because I was going to just be like, I know you're not sincere, but let it go because of the private DM afterwards. But when I found out in the middle of this, when this private DM was made prior to this, or after this, she made those Discord messages, basically saying that it wasn't for me, the apology or anything.
But she didn't say that. She didn't say it wasn't for you, specifically, right? It was definitely a generalization about the hateful people coming after him. And I feel like this sucks. Like, all right, let's, just for a moment, guys, just for like one moment, give me a little grace here for one moment. Let's put all of this drama aside. All of it aside for a second, right? It's really unfortunate that the perception of so much stuff is getting muddled so much that these two people cannot come to an agreement and reconcile, right? And that sucks so bad. And leader, and I agree that there's a misunderstanding and a misreading, but the point of this, leader, is that I have to go back and hearken to my original issue. But now this is twice, where he could have asked for understanding, where he could have messaged her and said, hey, what do you mean by this? Hey, I was going to accept your apology, but you said this. Can you talk about it? The DMs are open, right? The DMs are open. Go talk to her. You know, like, I don't want it to get intentional because I just don't know Chibi that way. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, please, like, just talk. Have the dialogue. All of this could have been avoided had you had the dialogue to begin with. Yeah, he should have DM'd her back.
It more or less is a statement that this is just all fake. Now, obviously it is, but yeah, come on. She only apologized because of just the overwhelming backlash that she has gotten in the last week. And so, obviously the reason why it was made was because of the pressure. But she couldn't even say, I'm sorry. She said, my bad. She didn't apologize for the pedo accusations, me being basically a rapist or anything like that, any of the slander. She just said, my bad and all that, and that's basically it.
I guess I don't know quite enough about all of those accusations. I know a little bit, right? I know Kiwi Farms, like, doxed this dude like crazy, right? I think there's some stuff in the middle there, dude, that it's like... I think that if you really are, like, caught up on that, you're gonna have to have a discussion with her. And my bad is definitely a form of an apology. I agree. I think it is too. I just think for him, he wants something so specific. And she's just kind of, that wasn't what she was planning on giving, right? And just left it to him being a piece of shit interview. I guess like that tweet that he pointed out before, I just don't know the validity of it, right? About the teen stuff. I mean, in her eyes, she might view him as a scammer, right? I don't know. I don't know about that part. I guess I'll withhold comment.
And in her public post, that was multiple paragraphs, by the way, she decided to throw shots at me, say I'm a piece of shit, and everything else in between. So,
well, here's the thing, right? She can still think you're a piece of shit and apologize for her comment, you know? So I think he's gonna make peace with the fact that he doesn't like you. She really does not like your actions and things you've done in the past. He does not like you as a person. You gotta make peace with that, dude.
Clear, there was no intent of apology. It's better than nothing. Okay. It's better than zero. She tried. Failed badly, obviously, but she tried. And I give some gratitude to some effort that was made on that. The problem, though,
I would also say, like, for me, like, as an individual, right? Like, let's say that if I was Chibi, right, and I made this post and Deme clap back like that, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna message them. I'm gonna be like, dude, hey, I just want you to know that's not cool. I went through this and this and this and this. I really do not appreciate that. You might not know this, but that's not cool. I just feel like all of this was like, why did you just not take it to DMs, and why did we jump to conclusions?
Is that when you make this type of statement, you make that public statement, and then you make the Discord statement, there is just multiple different masks on. It's not the
But it's not. I think you just misinterpreted. If I'm taking what he said, best interpretation, right? I think he misinterpreted it. Do I want to say that he's doing this on purpose? I just don't know. I don't know him that way.
Same type of message you're
so it's hard for me to say.
And it leans more towards very disingenuous and insincere than anything else. And so I would have kept it as this, but thanks to her statements, and quote-unquote her own words as well, public Discord, so everybody should have seen that. It wasn't a private conversation between a few people, it was a public Discord that she was posting those thoughts. I don't know why she would do something like that so publicly when she's trying to potentially make peace with someone. That is not a very smart move, I'm going to be honest with you. So, anyways, do I accept it? Look at the thumbnail. No, I don't accept the apology. If she would have said something like this, even I know that this isn't sincere, maybe I would have left it at that. But everything else, nah. Just say I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there it is. Like, obviously he doesn't accept the apology, right? And it's fine. That's his prerogative about, accepting that personal blow. I do think some of his points are weak. I do think some of his points here are just, a misunderstanding or misrepresented. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. There's the big grand reveal, right? So unfortunately, yeah, that's the apology, guys. Did accept it, no. Dawn of Everything goes on to say, Chibi's entire video is him just twisting Deme's words. They keep playing victim. Let's go through what was said. Her apology is sincere because she posted in Discord after DMs. False. Deme privately apologized to him for bringing up something traumatic. The Discord post was her telling her own community the apology was also so that they could move on from harassment his cult had been throwing at her for days. Two things aren't contradictions. There's someone trying to be accountable while protecting her people. She called me a pedo and rapist and apologized for it. He edited a fake tweet and clarified it was misinformation. More importantly, the whole situation started because he attacked her boundaries first. He clapped back. That doesn't make her the villain. He did say he'll leave the drama alone now because there's nothing else to see at least. Yeah, I mean, there's really not, right? Stream silence are suggestive to the allegations that merit. The sex on stream claims have already been debunked with seeing, right. Well, that's actually the cucking. To be fair, actually, this is a little bit of misinformation I had to clear up multiple times, but, yeah, this was, of course, the cucking was debunked. The sex on stream is more like, yeah, subjective, but I think most people agree it's not. He only apologized because the backlash, yeah, I know this guy's got, like, a history, but I'm just pulling it up, leader. Only apologized because the backlash, even if that's partially true, she still did it. Given the low blow, she said she didn't want to stoop to this level and try to be better. He was the only one who spent days letting his cold smear in his store, refusing to accept any apology. Isn't pure groveling. I guess, like, I don't know if it's, like, his cult, because I just don't know his community or anything like that. And I'm sure that I would like to think he would take action against people that do that kind of stuff, right? But what I will say is like, I mean, to his point, like, I mean, even if it's partially true, she did been to pressure or whatever, she still apologized and she still reached out, you know, to you, Chibi. So I feel like there's merit in that. I'll accept the apology. That's fine, but stop pretending you're some noble guy. Considering it, you're just finding more content, keeping your cold, attacking her. Give me a real apology. Chibi is a bit bitter, manipulative loser. So again, just giving his opinion on Chibi right here. So, of course, guys, you know, now we're gonna take a real twist. Are you guys ready? We're gonna take a real
now this might
weird
come as a
shot in the
shock
river
to you,
bend
but
here.
the idea.
Yeah, you guys ready for this? So, you know, we finalized everything. Deme makes her apology. Chibi doesn't accept it. We talked about what we feel like Chibi did this, that. Deme did this, that. We're settled on this, right, guys? We're done with Chibi and Deme right now because Chibi and Deme, we've talked about it. We're there, right? I guess Chibi didn't accept apology. Just gave her a little bit of credit. I mean, not really, leader, but okay. So anyway, enter Mujin, guys. Mujin decided to report on what was going on with this whole thing. So Mujin decided to hop into it. Now, as you guys remember, Mujin's last video about the whole Sykkuno stuff, you know, definitely got a backlash, right? People are like, oh, he's unreliable narrator, this and that, etc., etc. I will tell you guys, I watched the entirety of this video last night. You know, I feel like he didn't really poke too much at one side, right? He didn't really, like, I don't know, he just did, like, a flat report on it. It kind of reminded me of, like, Lydia. He just reported on it, right? And talked about certain stuff. So, this video is quite long, guys. I don't know if I want to watch it. I'm kind of debating on it. Should we watch it, guys? What? The opening visual is actually so fucking funny, actually. It's so fucking funny. Here's the reason I point this out, chat. Here's the reason I point this out. And we might need to dive into this just a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I can definitely give you a summary, but unfortunately, guys, now Chibi is very upset with Mujin. What a surprise. So, Chibi says, such a disingenuous video and thumbnail with multiple points being flat out wrong by Mujin. Even the thumbnails implying Deme never posted, he cheered me being cheated on. Deme says, hey, don't draw a prawn to me. Wait, didn't you get railed live in your stream? I mean, like, but why does the thumbnail have to... Why does the thumbnail have to imply this? It just, the thumbnail went in a different direction, dude. Yeah, it wasn't, like, just, dude, it's not about you. Yeah, this thumbnail's not about you. It's just, like, the wrap up, oh, like, don't draw this to me, and then talking about getting railed. Like, these are, like, the two big points of contention. This is, you're not even in this, bro. Like, yeah, the thumbnail is, like, separate. Are you conveniently painted the drama as Deme never said, didn't you get cheated on LMAO, so it may respond to everything happened? Wait, you also conveniently painted the drama as if Deme never said, didn't you get cheated on LMAO? But, like, I'm pretty sure he did on a coverage. We're gonna have to go look, guys. Didn't even get the story about the cheating right. He said, fiance of 10 years. It was my best friend of 10 years. Definitely got most of your notes about me from misinformation. Okay, so Mujin misspoke there. Right, he misspoke. Which, I mean, that's, if he made a mistake, he made a mistake, right? He misspoke. But, like, I wouldn't say that's, like, this misinformation. He probably just misspoke. Like, that, again, that's a reach. You're trying to make sure at every turn to make me look as bad as possible with bias to give people the impression I'm a borderline criminal and pedo. Fucking disgusting. Alright, well, here we go, guys. We're gonna watch it.
Of being railed live on a Twitch stream is not really a new concept, because back in 2022, that's someone else is a piece of shit. Now, this might come as a shock to you, but the idea of being railed live on a Twitch stream is not really a new concept, because back in 2022, that's actually exactly what happened.
Popcorn. Here we go,
streamed
guys.
herself with her boyfriend behind her, and it was just so.
I think the pedo accusations came from like him like being like a lolly enjoyer, right, or lolicon enjoyer.
Blatant, so obvious that it went absolutely viral. In fact, I can't even show you the full clip because it's that blatant. This video will get age restricted. But yes, this is actually real. And back in 2022, people were shocked, not just because of the act itself, but because it was done on a website where the youngest allowed age to make an account was 13 years old. So obviously, a ban was expected.
Yeah, we might not get to IRL news today, but I'll do my best, guys. I'll do my best. To be fair, I didn't really have like a lot, and I wanted to focus mostly on this, but you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll just do a long news day. I don't know. We'll find out. There's only an hour left on the timer, guys, so maybe the subathon will end and we don't get to any of it.
The thing is, people were shocked yet again, even more so than the first time, because they realized Twitch banned her only for 7 days, effectively giving her a 1-week vacation.
It's not real. It's just a random allegation.
But here's the deal. This was someone who didn't really have a large following. In fact, she barely had any following at all. So here's the question of the day. What if this happened to someone with a large following? In fact, let's make it even more interesting. What if this happened to a VTuber?
I don't think it really...
What's fascinating about this question is that they could technically do this and get away with it without suffering any consequences. Because
I don't think that Deme's dumb enough to do that, especially during a donathon. Why would she want to lose out on all that money, potentially? Or just her career? Like, it makes no sense.
To prove it, you're simply only shown their model. Well, the good news is that for anyone asking themselves these very important questions, we now finally have an answer. This is because the VTuber Deme found herself at the heart of a scenario that looks just like that.
Yeah, please,
and it was
please
a disaster.
do not DM me.
What started out as a simple post outlining her fan art preferences for her community would somehow escalate into a nasty feud with another content creator, which would somehow lead people to find a VOD from August 10th, 2025, in which Deme streamed herself playing the game Outer Wilds. This was it. This was the VOD in which people were convinced that Deme was getting railed live on stream, but not just for a few minutes. Some would be convinced that this lasted for over an hour of just constant railing as she was trying her best to hide it by acting normal on stream. I mean, look at this novel here, which is meant to show you all the different timestamps she did something suspicious.
If you're talking
this
to me.
person would even go as far as labeling this whole debacle as Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3, Arc 4.
Dude, this whole thing with all the timestamps was nuts. I will say, I don't think they should have deleted it because, again, deleting anything makes you look worse, but again, you can look through all of these and I don't think it proves a point.
Arc 5, and believe it or not, this is me barely scraping the surface here, because then the narrative would shift into the fact that she was getting railed, yes, but by another guy as her boyfriend was sitting in the opposite room. Guys, this would go so incredibly viral that yes, not only would it trend on Twitter,
guys.
But according to the website,
you wonder why I've been talking about this for so many days in a row. It's because it's literally gotten to be huge, guys. I mean, like, I saw on Reddit, I think it got up to number 15 on like the front page. Like, I mean, dude, this got viral. It's huge outside of VTubing.
50,000 posts made about this topic in just 2 days. Tens of millions of people would see these posts, and it would spread all around the globe as far as China. I mean, you can even find people talking about this on Facebook. Hell, this was so significant that there's even a dedicated Know Your Meme page about it now. This has piqued the interest of millions of people, and yet many have a hard time understanding it due to its needlessly complex nature. There are so many layers here, and so I figured I would make a video about it, explaining everything as objectively as humanly possible so that you can come up with your own opinion about it after understanding it, so that we can proceed.
You know, the people on Facebook are just instantly believe everything.
To finally move on, because I'm tired of seeing this on my feed. And so, without further ado,
you messed up
you already know the drill by now. Let's do this.
No.
All right, so first things first, who the hell is Deme? Well, I think it's obvious by now, she is a VTuber, but not just any VTuber. Over the last few years, she has become one of the top English-speaking independent VTubers on the planet. Whenever she goes live, she averages around 3,400 viewers, with her always peaking around 4,000 to 5,000. The reason why this is significant is because recently, Twitch started incorporating a new way to combat viewbots,
very large indie VTuber, guys.
People it thinks are viewbotting.
Yeah, y'all gotta understand, like, Deme is very large.
For example, Emiru recently had her view count reduced down to 10,000 viewers. During her streams, she usually always peaked around 20,000.
I'm gonna be so honest, guys. I'm tired of talking about this. Like, I'm like, balancing this in Anki has been a journey in itself, for real. Like, oh my god.
And there she was capped at 10,000. This was Twitch saying that it thinks half her viewer count.
Yeah, exactly,
is
Alex.
fake.
I mean, that's
so
huge.
for now, seeing that Twitch's viewer cap took no effect on Deme's channel, it meant that she had a substantial community and that it wasn't fake. But how did she manage to achieve this? Well,
yeah,
for people who are fans of her,
it's
fairly straightforward. They love her personality and her over-the-top reactions to many different things,
whether she's
reacting
like
to a video
back and
or
forth
to a video.
nuts.
At the same time, her model is very unique and very expressive too. It's easily recognizable, and there are people who watch her purely because they like the way she looks. But just like any big content creator these days, you can't have a fan base without having haters, and Deme definitely has haters. Their main issues with her are that she is a mean girl and that she can be irresponsible with her big platform.
Which I mean, I'll be honest, I agree with that. Especially with some of the stuff she's done before, her whole debacle with, Rosie Belmu. Yeah, no,
As
absolutely.
an example, back in February 2026, she would tweet out, "Why is no one talking about the blatant view botting in the VTubing sphere?"
Why not
And then
follow
would proceed to
Mujin?
call
I
out
am.
someone specifically about
I'm
this,
not
the
as a
VTuber
member, but
Olivia
I'm
Monroe,
subscribed.
even going as far as contacting her talent agency at the time, Mythic Talent, to complain about this. Now, this was definitely controversial when it happened, okay? The problem with viewbotting, the reason why it's become such a big problem, is because unless the streamer themselves says, "Yes, I'm viewbotting," there's no other way to prove it. So to people who hate or dislike Deme or just disagree with her, this was as if a judge gave someone a death sentence without even bothering to conduct a DNA test.
Yeah, and this was another one too. I actually forgot about this one. The Olivia Monroe calling her a viewbotter, and it was like, we looked into it and we're like, well, it's kind of inconclusive, so why did you jump to a conclusion? So like, Deme is definitely not a perfect person, right? We know she's explosive, she's very reactionary, etc., right?
Test. Now, we still don't know whether Olivia actually did viewbot because she hasn't streamed since the 26th of April 2026, and because of that, Twitch was not able to implement any view caps on her stream, right? She has to stream again for that to happen. And one example of her using her
that's
platform
true.
irresponsibly from people who disagree with
she
her
had health
is when she would express
issues.
how she hates when people say that streaming is hard, that she's very privileged and very happy to be in this
Yeah,
position.
this was the drama I'm talking about, the 9 to
streamer would have a
5.
disagreement with her on this topic, and it would lead into drama, with Deme personally calling them out on her stream, even though she has a way bigger following than them. So look, just like any content creator, she has supporters, she has people who dislike her, and she's been in her fair share of drama. But I assure you, there's nothing that she's ever been through in terms of drama that can even compare to the radioactive show that you're about to witness. So how did it begin? Well, it would all start on June 12th, 2026, when Deme would tweet out, "Hey, just a reminder."
I mean, I'll be honest, I've seen Deme in clips and stuff like that, but I knew about her from the prior
I'm extremely
drama.
uncomfortable with NSFW art of me. But why did you make your VTuber look like that? Just because I like sexy or hot things doesn't mean I want to see porn of it. It's just a VTuber. Who do you think of when you see it? She would then clarify this point further in the replies, saying, "I just feel like there's so many other content creators who'd love to have artists draw them in that way, and it's wasted effort towards me too. But I'd like to make this clear. I'm completely okay with sexy stuff because I like sexy hot women, I just don't like porn." She would then reply to a couple of people who were confronting her about this point, saying, "What does this have to do with me? I don't go out of my way to stop people from doing what they want whatsoever. I just like saying my personal boundaries."
And that's fine, right? She can make her personal boundaries. Nothing wrong with that.
This was straightforward. This was directed towards her community. "Hey, listen, I personally don't like seeing my character in these specific situations, but I don't mind sexy art." And so around 6 hours later, the content creator Chibi Reviews would see her post and would decide to quote tweet it, saying, "So you're uncomfortable with NSFW art of yourself, but repost NSFW art of yourself. This level of virtue."
So this was something actually until this video I had never seen. So you're uncomfortable with not safe for work art of yourself, but repost not safe for work art of yourself. So this was actually, he tweeted this and then edited it later, right? This level of virtue signal is stun locked to me. So I never saw this like pre-draft version.
"Has stun locked me." A minute later, he would edit his post to remove the first sentence and would just say, "This level of virtue signaling has stun locked me. Look at the repost." And so the repost in question would be Deme reposting art of her character in which she's showing a lot of skin, right? You have big stars that are covering her breasts, but at the end of the day, her character was wearing somewhat of a skimpy bikini, right? Now, normally something like this wouldn't really be very significant. People disagree with each other on Twitter all the time. They call out each other all the time. It's just the nature of the website and its algorithm. The reason why this was significant.
I just, like, I don't want to impress my beliefs on anybody, right? But like, if I saw this and I had like a real problem with it, right? I would just, why not just ask the person what they mean? Maybe it's my quest for understanding and extreme empathy because, like, guys, my empathy is so deep. It's actually like, it's bad. It's a bad thing. Like, I empathize too much. It's my best and worst quality. I think the best in everybody, and I empathize too much. It's my best and worst quality. But like, also at the same time, like, I would just like, why not ask? Like, why not find out? You know? I don't know. I would just want to find out more instead of jumping.
It wasn't necessarily because of the post itself, but it was because of the person who was posting it, Chibi Reviews. And for you to really understand the situation that's currently unfolding, you have to understand who this guy is.
I'm really glad that Mujin kind of does a backstory on Chibi as well. And I think this will set a lot of people up that don't know Chibi, right, very well, to understand the problems that he's dealt with in the past.
Chibi Reviews would make his YouTube channel around 12 years ago, and he would do exactly what his name entails.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around
forever. But even back then, he would get himself into some pretty rough drama, just reviewing anime. Some people would disagree with his takes, some people would find him cringy, and it would lead to a number of people to find out that Chibi's older brother actually died from suicide. This would prompt another YouTuber by the name of That Anime Snob to make a video criticizing Chibi, making fun of his dead brother. This was back in 2018, and back then, the wider anime community was absolutely shocked that someone would say something like this. At the time, Chibi Reviews would get full support from other content creators that were
absolutely horrible, by the way. That person that made that video is, it was horrible, guys. And as somebody that has lost, you know about Ia's brother, right? I mean, that's something that, you know, I see the effects of every day. It's awful, and I'm sorry, Chibi, about your brother. I really, really am. that as somebody that's, you know, seen the effects of that and how it hurts people, and, you know, my partner, like, having to, that's affected her and deal with, you know, those things. It's horrible, and I'm so sorry. That's awful. And for somebody to do that shit to you is so beyond fucked up.
Were his friends, like the anime YouTuber Mother's Basement, giving his full support, and also Joey Bissinger, otherwise known as the Anime Man, saying, "How dare you say this to my friend? I hope you rot in hell." So drama has always been somewhat present in Chibi's life, but it would be nothing compared to what he would have to experience in the following years. You see, around the early 2020s,
I think it
Chibi
was
would
an
start
AI
shifting his
picture,
content
Nick.
more from just anime to anti-censorship and anti-tourist rhetoric. In other words, government should stay away from what I post on the internet, and people who don't understand anime should stay away from anime. So what defines a tourist? Well, to Chibi, it was simple. If you were someone who found LOLI to be repulsive, I can't say that word on YouTube, but in a nutshell, it's underage characters found in anime, then you were a tourist and you deserve to be called out for it.
So, like, I don't want to say here his definition of lolly. I don't know if he meant, like, lolicon, or he just didn't really care. I mean, like, I guess some people think lolly and lolicon are, like, the same thing, so yeah, I mean, put that one up on the shelf, I suppose.
Also, if you
It's
found
really not that big a
siblings
deal.
doing the deed, so incest, to be repulsive or disgusting, then you were also very clearly a tourist, and you deserve to be called out for it. You don't belong in the anime community. He would make these points constantly, and while yes, he would grow a fan base, he would also grow a significant amount of people who hate.
Okay, so now I see why Chibi is not happy about this, right? Like, I mean, I've already watched a video, but so I should say more. You guys see why Chibi's not happy about this because, you know, he says, very disingenuous. You're making sure every turn to make me look as bad as possible with bias to give people the impression I'm a borderline criminal pedo. Well, I mean, he's just stating like how you feel about certain stuff, you know? That's kind of it right now. Devin, that unfortunately that is not, yes, for me, I agree. But for general internet, that's not always the case. Yeah, you gotta understand that terminology is pretty subjective, like overall.
Hated his guts. And on October 3rd, 2024, his life would change forever due to those haters that hated his guts. He would post a clip.
Basically, he's giving you backstory on Chibi. They gotta understand what he's gone through and why he's responding the way he is and stuff like that, right? It's his backstory about Chibi.
From the anime Dandadan.
It's
saying,
important.
The
I mean, it
animators
really
didn't need
is.
to go so hard for the scene. And in this clip, we can see one of the two main characters who's in high school almost get taken advantage of, let's say, by a bunch of aliens. And it would go mega viral. I mean, 21 million views. This is the kind of post you see if you're a normie with a freshly installed
wild.
Twitter app. And barely 2 days later, he would find out that, well, due to this post, he would get doxxed. Someone would post actual images of the house that he lived in, as well as his brother's
unacceptable.
grave. And by the way, these aren't the only things that are
Unacceptable.
available when it comes to Chibi's private information on the internet. There are literal wikis out there that contain every single address he has ever lived in his life, as well as his job history and the place he worked at. On October 6, 2024, a day later, he'd find out that the people who actually doxed him were Boruto fans. He'd make a video showcasing some of the things that were being said to him. Like, if I ever saw you in real life, I would stomp the
Oh yeah,
grandstand.
no, I mean they absolutely went after this guy, doxed him, Kiwi Farms. I mean, there's stuff out there you can find to this day. It's horrible.
Come out of your head and spit on your shaking corpse, and would tell everyone that he bought a gun, so they're more welcome to come to his house to find out. He would also start a fundraiser, claiming that he was going to sue the people who doxed him. After raising $17,000, the
horrible.
fundraiser would, well, get taken down. When people brought it up, he would block them, and eventually he would explain to his community that he had to use these funds for urgent bills and emergencies, and for the most part, if we're going to look at it objectively, his community, the same people who donated, were fairly okay with it. But if he thought that's what...
So this is kind of where he talks about the donation stuff, right? I think his community is pretty much okay with it. A lot of people call him a scammer because he didn't actually use it for what it was intended. I guess I don't really have an opinion on it just because I wasn't around for it, so I don't really know. I think if you donated to it, you're the person that is allowed to have an issue with it. I don't know if he's a scammer. I don't know. I just don't know enough.
things ended, you'd be mistaken. Because on April 2026, yes, this is very recent, someone would post an image of themselves holding a shovel standing right behind Chibi Reviews' brother's grave. They would quote tweet something that Chibi was saying and say, in quotes, "It's just a drawing," referencing how Chibi doesn't mind LOLI, right? Drawings of underage children. And then would continue with, "Compelling argument, I'm digging up your brother and turning him into a chair." Now, it would turn out later that this image was AI generated, but initially, of course, it caused a lot of uproar, and it also caused a lot of self.
I remember I was going to report on it actually, and I got it was like a long period I didn't do IRL news. Like it was like a long time. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 weeks. And the story was so old, I put it to the side.
Celebration, right? It's important to point this out. For example, this Reddit post with 14,000 upvotes was literally referencing what had happened to Chibi in regards to that image. This really would go out of control, right? On April 20th, someone would post, found Chibi's brother's grave, LMFAO, and they would literally link his grave. And that whole thing about turning his brother into a chair,
yeah, I think it was
post an image of a
AI,
wooden
if I
chair in
remember.
the form of a skeleton, and under it,
Either way, whether it's AI or not, it's fucked up.
It's going to be blurred, obviously, but under it you could see the real
Nobody
name of Chibi's
deserves
brother,
that, right?
his date of birth, where he was born,
Nobody
the date of
deserves
his
that.
death, and the exact place where he's buried, like the actual address. 4 days later, Chibi would find out that there was someone on Kiwi Farms, I don't know whether it was jokingly or seriously at this point, to be honest, trying to convince a teenager to go to Chibi's house and assassinate him for $200. This would prompt Chibi to call law enforcement. Now, I can totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you can see all this shit this dude has, like, gone through, which, I don't know, I just don't, I feel like if somebody's, like, bad, right, like, you call them out for it, and then you move on, right? Like, what? All of this extra stuff is ridiculous, right? You're just as bad if you start trying to do this to somebody else if you don't like them.
That if this is your first time hearing about this guy, you're probably absolutely shocked. Like, your jaw's probably on the floor. Don't worry, that's a totally reasonable reaction. In any case, this leads me to the main point I want to make in telling you all this. When it comes to how people feel about Chibi, I'd say they can be divided into 3 different categories. Category 1 is people who are loyal to him and are his biggest fans. They believe he's 100% right,
they've been around
and that
for a long
every
time.
bad thing that happened to him over the years was unwarranted, undeserved. Category 2, I'd say, is probably the majority of people, and it's people who maybe are neutral towards him or maybe completely disagree with him. But even so, Category 2 believes that this shit simply went way too far.
I think we're probably all in category 2, guys. We're like, we kind of feel indifferent based on the situation. We'll look at it, but also we're like, yeah, that went way too far. That's not cool.
It doesn't matter how much you dislike someone, threatening to dig up their dead brother is insane, and it's crossing every red line. And so this, of course, leads us to the last category, category 3. These people believe that Chibi is a full-fledged pedophile, like literally on the same rank as Epstein, and that he not only deserves every single thing that's happened to him over the years, but he actually deserves way worse. Now, what's really interesting about category 1 is that
it's not about like excusing or anything like that. It's understanding.
Even though they're not millions of people, they still hold influence because many of them are very vocal. And I'm going to show you an example. Around a month ago, Internet Anarchist, a YouTube channel with almost 2 million subscribers, would make a 30-minute video about Chibi Reviews. Chibi would see this and would tweet multiple times about how much he dislikes this video, how he thinks it's slander, and how it's defamation. Him simply tweeting this would send his loyal supporters to come and brigade the video. It's currently sitting at 4,000 likes and almost 7,000 dislikes, with thousands of comments, many of the top ones completely disagreeing with the video itself. In their opinion, Internet Anarchist was justifying the bad things that happened to Chibi simply because he likes fictional drawings of underage children, and that the biggest mistake he did was simply shitposting, trash talking online. So the point of this yapathon was to show you that Chibi calling out Deme like this wasn't insignificant. Once he signaled that he disliked something, once he signaled that someone was being a tourist or a hypocrite in this case, Category 1 viewers will go to that post and brigade it.
I think it's fair to say, because he has a loyal following. It's kind of like, activating Execute Order 66, right? Everybody, like, activates all of a sudden. They're like, all right, let's go. But, like, there's also reasonable, like, doubt in a lot of this, right? Because at the same time, it's like, well, you're not entirely responsible for what everybody else does. But I do feel like sometimes you gotta call in the brigade, right? You gotta be like, hey, like, guys, I don't want that. You gotta put the, your foot down, right? But you can't own everything that everybody does all the time, right? Because they're those people's actions. But there is a bit of a moral obligation to make sure you rein people in if it's too much, in my opinion.
Exactly what happened here. Deme would notice this, right? She
Unless
made
you
this
call
post
in the
specifically for her
squad,
community and would see these people come brigade her post. And so instead of ignoring Chibi, she would choose to reply. She'd say, wait, oh my God, aren't you the guy whose fiance literally cheated on you and your whole friend group sided with her? LMFAO. So...
So here was the other point I wanted to bring up, right? So I said, oh, so you conveniently playing the drama as if Deme never said, didn't you get cheated on? LMFAO is the main reason everything happened. But like, number one, he did put it in the video. It's right there. And number two, you're saying that as the main reason everything happened, but it wasn't. You responding to it was the main reason that it happened. So like, I think it's just so tied up on the fact he truly believes he did not start anything, right? And it's like, but dude, you did. You really, really did. Like, it's right there. Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, you're probably thinking, Mujin, you just told me about how this guy went through the 7 layers of hell, but you're telling me he also got cheated on? Yes. And this will be the last bit of context you need to understand what the hell Deme's talking about.
Yeah,
2
I
months
agree
before
on
someone
that,
posted
leader.
that AI-generated image of them digging up Chibi's brother, on February 12th, 2026, Chibi would tweet out, "Just lost my fiance, my best friend, and my entire friend group in 24 hours. I have never been more alone than right now." This would also go extremely viral at almost 20 million views, 6,000 replies. Many people had things to say, whether it was to
Yeah, and people were being really shitty towards him about it, which we don't know the details of it. I'm just gonna take his word for it, right? But yeah, people are being really horrible about it.
show him support or gloat. But it was mostly gloating, as you can see from some of the top replies. Chibi would then make a video further explaining what happened. In it, he'd reveal that his fiancée of like 10 years cheated on him with his best friend, someone that he's known for a very long
So Chibi is upset that he said fiance of 10 years when he's my best friend of 10 years. So, I mean, he definitely, he misspoke, you know, or he wrote his notes down wrong or whatever, right? I don't think they were actually engaged for that long. But being like you got most of your notes about me from misinformation, that's a stretch, dude. Because he misspoke in one line, that's a quick DM and say, hey, you got this wrong. Can you correct it? Or, hey, I'm going to leave a comment. You got this line wrong.
long time, I believe since childhood.
Yeah,
now, this is
it's
already
not, you
horrible,
can't accuse
right?
somebody
But
of full-on misinformation because they misspoke about something that, in the grand scheme of things, is very arbitrary. You know, like, guys, do you find that line to be, the accuracy of that line, do you think that would change the entirety of the situation? Of course not. It's very arbitrary.
How it got worse, because the friend group that he shared with his fiancée, upon hearing this, upon finding out that she cheated on him, would still somehow side with her, okay? Completely ditching Chibi and continuing to hang out with her and his ex-best friend, even though he had just gone through probably the worst moment in his life. According to him, this would lead him to drive out into the wilderness with a bunch of drinks and hope to leave this planet. He'd then say that one of his online friends would panic about him, call emergency services, and have him be picked up and sent
Yeah, I mean,
to a
that's cool
hospital.
too, Chica. We could just
now,
go
look,
with that.
Obviously, this doesn't happen every day. Someone cheating on you with your best friend, that sounds like something you'd find in a movie, like a nightmare scenario. But the fact that the friend group also sided with the fiancé, that was crazy. And what really didn't help here is that whenever someone online would say that Chibi is a virgin or that no woman loves him as an insult, Chibi would constantly flex the fact that he had a girlfriend or a fiancé, right? So him revealing this information to the world essentially meant that people were never going to let this go.
Which is kind of like the easiest, just like clap back. You know what I mean? So I definitely get it.
However, at the end of the day, this wasn't just probably one of the most significant things that happened to him in his life, but it's also one of the most significant things that happened to him in his content creation career.
I just think
after
this whole
some time
thing has gotten
recovering,
way
he would
too
tweet this out
personal.
saying, "Seeing how happy it would make my haters if I died, I live out of spite. Also seeing what I've seen today,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
going
me
to double
too.
down
Let's
out of
fucking
spite.
go.
Before I go any further,
I show up in this subathon out of fucking spite. Not for the fact that I want to wake up, for the fact that chat doesn't think I can do it. I feel you, Chibi. We keep going out of spite.
to those that reached out, I promised to respond and go through it all later. I noticed a lot of pattern recognition from certain groups too today. Always the party of acceptance people, multiple flags are a big indication too. Certain usage of gifs as well. Animals pretending to be human with subpar intelligence. I'm also pro-ICE, and I think illegal immigrants should not be in my country. So this tweet was fairly significant because it pretty much showed...
And obviously, he talked about his political beliefs as well at the bottom there. Already, you know, that's going to cause some divisiveness, etc.
Things. The first thing was that he was fully transitioning into political content creation. This was not simply about anime or tourists or free speech and anti-censorship. This was now also about political content. And the second thing here was that he was going to continue doing what he's always done, rage baiting and posting about his controversial opinions while calling out people he disagreed with very openly. But now this would be amplified. He would do it more and on a different level. Here's an example. As far as I'm aware, based on his online history, I don't think he would have quote tweeted a post like this a year or two ago. No, this...
What? I've never seen this. What? Oh! What? I think I'm missing context here or something. I have questions. That's it. I just have questions.
This is recent. And from then on, he would also make it a point to talk about how many impressions he's getting on the website and how much money he's making. In this post, he would flex that he was making almost $2,000 while thanking his haters for paying for his...
Good? Why are you flexing, bro? Who cares? Nobody cares about how much money you make. Like, you be good for you. Like, yeah, that's cringe. I mean, I guess you're trying to show like, oh, like your haters pay you, but why do you need to like voice that? Like, who cares? Like, a person who did it got the impasse from their friends, so they posted with AI. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one up on the shelf.
I promise. Now you know all the context you need to know about Chibi in this video. When it came to Demi's reply, though, one can interpret it
Oh, it's
multiple
AI
ways.
generated.
The
Of
first
course,
one could be,
that
oh,
makes
she
it
noticed
even
she's being
worse.
brigaded. She sees the source who's causing this, and the only thing she genuinely knows about Chibi is the fact that he's that guy that got cheated on, seeing how viral that tweet went. The second
Right.
interpretation is that she saw where this was coming from, she found it to be Chibi, and she decided to be a mean girl. Hell, you might even think it's both interpretations. Up to you. Point is, she thought this was an easy slam dunk, and it kind of was. She did end up ratioing him, and to people who actually use this website, this means that
You know, I forgot about that. She did end up ratioing him. I mean, ultimately, it didn't really work out because that's not a nice thing to see, right?
it's somewhat of a victory.
But-
Chibi would reply to her reply and say, so you avoid answering why you retweet NSFW every avatar despite being upset about it in your post, then you cheer on
So we avoid answering why you retweet Nazi Warrior avatar despite being upset about it in your post. But like, here's the thing: you avoid answering, right? You're putting the burden of answering on her when you should have asked to begin with. You know, Chibi, like, you can't put that burden on her without being the one to ask, hey, can you clarify what you mean by not safe for work?
cheating. Interesting. This would prompt Demi to say, my bad for not wanting to see my model getting pounded. If people want to keep drawing it, then it's their choice, but I'm just not going to support it. Does that make sense to you now? And she would include a screenshot of exactly what she said in the reply to her post, saying, I'm completely okay with
this
sexy
is another reason why I'm like, she was very clear
stuff, 'cause
about
I
what
love
she
sexy
said.
hot women. I just don't like porn. To which Chibi would say, so you could have answered first like this, but used personal attacks and sheer cheating. Not a good look.
Well, which I will say, her answer with a personal attack was not good, but so you answered, so you could have answered like this first. No. You could have asked her first what she meant by that. This is the fundamental misstep that Chibi made.
Now look, as a normal
I know I keep
employed
harkening
person
back
watching this
to that,
video, you might
but-
think to yourself, okay, well, I guess this is where things end. It's a public spat. These two had mean things to
Or
say
read
about
the
each
post,
other.
yeah.
I'm sure people will move on. Well, no. Things would get so bad in the coming 2 days that people would forget what started this to begin with. This was nothing
Yep.
more than the spark that
Yep.
lit up Chernobyl. Just so we're clear here,
I mean,
the
he's
spat
right.
between Demi and Chibi would occur on June 13th. It really would take less than 24 hours for this to
She's the one
become
people drawing are
very
getting railed
significant.
now.
With people even
You got a
drawing
bunch of
fan
goofy
art
goobers
about
or
this
AI
incident.
users are
But
event
even
generating.
before these 24
Yeah,
hours
and
had
that's so
passed,
fucked
even
up.
during June 13th,
That's so fucked
this
up.
would escalate to another level when the YouTuber parrot 4chan would quote tweet what Demi said to Chibi, right? Asking, aren't you the one that was cheated on? And saying, guy's fiance cheats on him with his friend.
We've already read
Sympathy
this.
made. Because many people who were disagreeing with Demi or having a problem with her didn't really know her that well, didn't really understand her history. This would start a new narrative. She wasn't just a
Exactly,
hypocrite because
like-
of her NSFW
You benefit so much more by asking, because let's say that they clarified their position and it makes you look better, then that makes your argument stronger.
takes. Don't forget about that. She is now a hypocrite when it comes to relationships, making fun of someone at their lowest point when she had been in one too. What some others also pointed out was that ex of hers had actually stabbed her, and Demi claimed that this was because she was trying to save him from a suicide attempt. A while ago, she had even made a post saying that she does not regret doing that, and that if you make fun of it, you're an absolute waste
I
of
thought
air.
she got
So now she wasn't just a
slashed with,
hypocrite
like,
when it came to
scissors
relationships, she was a hypocrite when
or
it came to
something
mental
like
health,
that.
more specifically suicide, because Chibi was about to leave this planet due to what happened to him with his ex. Another narrative popped up, with people digging up old tweets of hers where she was saying Happy Men's Day to my fellow men. To the people criticizing her, this meant that she never cared about men's mental health because she's so easily making fun of Chibi and what he went through. And still, on the same day, okay, a third narrative would
Yeah,
pop up.
here we
This
go,
user would
chat.
post a 2-minute clip from a VOD from 10 months ago in which Demi was playing the game Outer Wilds. They would say, big talk from someone who got railed on stream, afraid of NSFW, my ass, tagging both Demi and Chibi. Now, this was very significant because this post had
Oh, yeah.
received almost 10 million views.
I mean, it
And
blew
within
the fuck
literally just
up.
a day, we're still June 13th, 3 different narratives were created, all attacking Demi at the same time. This is when she would proceed
Oh, this
to
clip?
make a
Yeah, and again, I don't think she was having sex on stream. I really don't.
post on Twitter saying, I was too busy in Japan to see what happened on Twitter. What I meant by NSFW, since a
Yep,
lot of people
I
are
agree,
confused,
Dan.
I'm okay with lewd. Never
The
have not been
plappening,
okay
as
with
I
it.
call
I just
it.
don't like seeing
The
people
plappening.
lol. To me, being a bitch, that's nothing new, and I've never been nice to people I don't care about / respect. Y'all are so bored that someone that just doesn't like porn made, you personally get riled up. I just genuinely can't really care. If you don't want to respect it or even try to see what I meant, I see no reason to be even respectful remotely to some losers. I'd be lying if I said I was sorry. She would then continue and say, was it right to do what I did? No, but I never pretended to be a role model whatsoever and openly hate other people, so who's surprised on that? To the people bringing up what happened with my relationship in the past as a blow, we practically moved on
plappening,
from
yeah,
it
that's
too.
what I've been
If you actually
calling
watch
it,
my
the
streams, he's
plappening.
on it all the time. And we're happy as fuck just taking a break
I
from
forget
streaming
what
in Japan.
Remo
I've
was
never did
calling
that
it too.
whatsoever.
It
To the
was
people who
something
think I'm not a
funny.
good VTuber, never did the norm, and I don't plan to cry
Oh,
about
yeah,
pussy.
Rima called it Plapgate.
She would then reply to 2 different replies, one supporting her and one shitting on her, and the latter said, so you're a massive bitch who mocks people for traumatic events that made them suicidal? Got it. Good to know. If you actually didn't bother to do any introspection, you're a sad person and it speaks to your true nature. To which Demi would say, yeah, honestly, if we're talking about Chibi here, I don't sincerely care. I was genuinely surprised he was the guy. The person supporting her would say, I feel like that should have been obvious to them. If we say NSFW, a lot of the times it is about people getting fucked or nudity. To which Deme would say, yeah, but they just want to farm Twitter engagement because they're poor as fuck and have nothing else to earn on. The OG post was obvious as fuck. So this post clarified her position on everything going on, but also confirmed that unlike what some people were saying, that she had left her
really
abusive
funny.
ex,
I don't know,
she
I'm
was
kind of
actually
about
still
the
with that same person
plapping.
and they had solved things, that they're now happy together and having a good time in Japan. On the next day, June 14th, she would reply to this post again.
There's a
and
roll
say,
off the tongue like the
I talked to
plapping.
my community about what people are saying.
So I mean,
was confused with some
we've seen
people
all these
calling me a
tweets, guys. You know, we've seen all these tweets. So I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit. I have a.
She doesn't care about that. She was just
Part
making
written
a
down, I
post
wanna
talking
get
directly to
to.
her community. That's it. After this post would get made, Chibi would tweet this out, saying, instead of apologizing and making peace, she doubles down in latest post and blocks me. I think this says a lot about them. And he would show a screenshot of Deme blocking him. He would then find out about her new reply that she made, where she talked to her community, and he would also comment on it, saying, says sorry, not sorry. I just hate Chibi because he's a weirdo and will cheer on cheating because of it.
And have to constantly talk about this
for
multiple days at a fucking time.
Everyone knows they're getting pushback.
Yeah, you know.
So look, by now, I'm sure you can understand how things have already started to spiral, and depending on your algorithm, depending on who you agree with, depending on how hard you look, you could find two very differing opinions at this point. The first group was focused.
So like what I will say here is I feel like Mujin a couple times says, well, you know, based on your perspective, what you see, what your thoughts are, etc. I feel like he's kind of like middle down the line. I do think there's a bit of leaning towards well, at least in this part of the video, right? He's leaning more towards explaining Chibi's kind of past and stuff like that. But like he's like, Chibi says here, you're making sure every tournament made me look as bad as possible with bias to give people the impression of a borderline crowd. I don't think so, Chad. At least not yet. But do y'all agree with this take? Do you think Mujin's done that in this video?
Focusing their hate on Deme, and the second group was focusing their hate on Chibi. This would, however, escalate to another level when Chibi would post again. This time, a video with him saying, addressing the VTuber drama, how she went mask off, and how I was personally attacked. Linking a video, and the thumbnail is Deme with text on her saying she
just to
attacked
get all this stuff
him.
in my
He would talk
feed,
more about the things I already mentioned in this video. He'd call her a hypocrite, he'd say that she doesn't care about mental health because she attacked him and doesn't care that it almost made him leave the planet, etc, etc. Now, just like how on Deme's post, most of the replies were negative, the same thing can be said here on Chibi posting the video. So as I said, two very differing opinions, and you could find those opinions on the posts of these two, right?
People did
this video would get a lot of attention
Chibi.
from both sides, and the new narrative, other than the three others that we already spoke about, was that Deme was attacking Chibi. She was the aggressor, and he was the victim. Seeing all this, Deme would make another post saying, addressing the drama, live right now, linking a Twitch channel that does 24-hour reruns of past Deme streams, baiting people to click on it. This post would go as far as being community noted with the notes.
Wait a second, my Mujin liked my post. I've been VTubing serious since 2021. This might be the most 0 to 100 situation I've ever seen. That's funny. You know, still some people talking heavy metal elf jump scare the Mujin comments. Love that. Wow, I made it, guys. I made it.
Saying the linked Twitch stream is a 24/7 rerun channel replaying VODs, not a live broadcast. But while somewhat,
I think Chibi's far too emotional about this. He's taking everything way too personal. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's subjective, right? But like, I don't get that sense of what he's saying right here. I think that Chibi has a bad habit of overreacting. Is what I'm kind of getting. Because again, my whole history of Chibi started about a week ago. Like, you know, I'd seen some takes of his that were not within my moral compass, so I had muted him from my timeline. But, you know, looking at all this stuff that's happened with him in the past, I do genuinely feel it's sympathy. I do. I feel really bad for the things he's gone through. But also, like, I'm starting to see a pattern that he overreacts very quickly to things that are like, dude, yeah, no, you gotta take a step back. Yo, what's up, Tempest? How are you? Thank you for the raid, kitty.
Call this a top-tier troll.
How was your
There was
stream?
a looming shadow that was making its way towards Deme. The clip of her allegedly getting railed on stream was truly blowing up. Like, I mean, it was going mega viral. So much that a user would make fan art of Deme getting piped while also making fun of the incident where she was stabbed, right? Saying, please don't let him find out, otherwise he'll stab me with the scissors again. Effectively making it seem like she was cooking her boyfriend. Now, Deme
but she
would,
wasn't.
for some reason,
that was
this fan
disproven.
art. She would not, however, address this whole getting railed on stream thing. So I don't know why she decided to quote tweet this post in particular.
Yeah, I
but here's
agree,
what she had to say.
Captain. I mean, like, her comment was very unneeded, but also at the same time, like, you know, you can still advocate for something and also, like, make a misstep about something you say, right? I just feel like, again, everything is so binary. That's the way everybody treats Twitter all the time. Oh, it's either this or that. You're a hypocrite or you're not. You believe in this 100% or you don't. It's like, Bro, there's differences. Like, there's nuance.
Chibi fans want to preach about men's mental health while making fun of a man's suicide attempt. I got slashed accidentally when I pulled the scissors away from him, trying to save his life from a horrible decision. Their obsession with the cuck fantasy.
You're not the first news channel to come to that conclusion. Well, again, it says everybody's like, you have to fucking... It's one thing or the other, right? And I'm telling you, yes, Deme fucked up by saying that, but I don't believe that she doesn't believe in men's mental health, right? And yes, she definitely misspoke and definitely said stuff she shouldn't have, but that doesn't destroy the entirety of the fact that she does or doesn't believe in something, right? That's just kind of what's wild to me.
He also checks out. I had no idea that Chibi Reviews tried to take his own life, and I don't wish that upon anyone.
All right, we've already read that.
Anyway, I'm gonna continue my Japan trip. Peace emoji. Now, she would reply to this very shortly after and say, had to update the tweet since I didn't want to spread misinformation. My bad on that.
What's
and what
wild,
she was
leader?
referencing was the fact that in the first version of this, she would link an image in which Chibi Reviews says, went to Walmart today and saw some cute LOLIs, which honestly made my day, lol. So this is a fake tweet, right? Chibi never tweeted this. Many use it to hate on him because if it were to be true, this would be him admitting that he pretty much likes children, right? IRL children, and still calls them LOLI, even though they're meant to be fictional characters, right? So, you know, just straight up admitting he's a pedophile. This image has spread so much throughout the internet that there's a lot of people who believe it's real. In fact, even Internet Anarchist, when he made his video about Chibi, had initially included this tweet, which later forced him to re-upload the video once he found out that it was fake. In this case, though, Deme would fairly quickly remove it and edit the tweet because I'm pretty sure you can't edit after an hour had passed. But to
Oh, the art. Yeah, the art is fucked up. I agree. So, again, this is a, I mean, even Mujin defends him here with this fake screenshot, which is good.
the damage was already done. It didn't matter. You clearly knew what you were doing trying to slander his name, and no amount of trying to fix it will solve this. Now, this tweet, of course, would attract many people who hate her. It would receive a lot of backlash. It simply didn't do anything to calm down Chibi
I feel like Mujin's doing a good
I'd be
job.
lying to you if I said that Chibi wasn't also receiving hate himself. As I said, opinions were really divided into two categories with no nuance. You either hated Deme or you hated Chibi.
Yeah, I mean,
There was no in between.
everybody's
But here's the thing. All of a sudden, we had a
throwing shit
third
at
group
each
of
other.
people join in on this drama. People who didn't really care who Chibi or Deme
Which
even were.
this is
They were
not
just
needed.
shocked to see
That's
a
not
VTuber
needed.
allegedly getting railed live on stream. This is yet another post referencing that same stream, getting over 7 million views. Here's another post saying this clip makes it far more obvious what the fuck LMAO, getting 5 million views. Someone would say, man, she's weird for doing this, but why do people care about this? The person
Wait, was Mujin able to modify the video? No, he would have to re-upload it. If so, what was Chibi complaining when Mujin specified it was fake? What are you talking about?
who posted it would say, who knows? I just thought it was funny, LMAO. So see, this was a third group of people coming in, not really caring about the drama.
This is the epitome. Mujin says this later, so I don't want to take away from his punchline, but like literally the epitome of this is I choose to believe it not because it's true, but because it's
I didn't even
funny.
know how this drama began, just acting shocked over this. This is yet another post saying, yo, Deme, I think you might want to take down the VOD. Getting railed midstream is kind of crazy. This would again get over 6 million views. And I mean, in general, for June 14th and 15th, this had taken over the entire website.
Well, sure, leader. I
And
mean,
yes, of
there's always
course, I'm gonna
bad
show you clips
people
so that
and
you can make up your own
everything.
mind, but I just want you to understand. This had gotten so viral that when you go to YouTube, you can try this right now. Pause the video and do it yourself. If you just as much type Deme, you will see
It's
one of the
Outer
first
Wilds
results
2,
being
yep.
Deme plays Outer Wilds #2. Deme
When I went through those VODs to match up sometimes, in the first one, it was crazy. People were commenting, they're like, not this video, the next one. Wrong video, go to #2. And the #2 is just, I mean, the comments on there are diabolical.
Outer Wilds 2, Demonishki Outer Wilds, Deme Outwards 2 VOD. This didn't just take over the algorithm of Twitter. This took over the YouTube algorithm too.
Yep.
Prior to this drama, this VOD had like 50k views, maybe 60k views at most, under 100k for sure.
It's almost like
in
a
less
million.
than 48 hours. It had
I mean,
reached
it's nuts.
over 800,000 views. And as you might expect, most of the top comments, actually no, you know what? All of them are referencing her being railed. There were multiple comments describing in very painful detail what was happening during every suspicious event. I mean, this guy right here would just admit it himself. He spent 6 hours watching the VOD and making these timestamps.
Dude, bro, so like, I mean, really reading that much into it. Also, one thing I'll mention to you guys on the side, which is really crazy, and this kind of came from the 4chan side of stuff. So every once in a while, guys, when I look into situations, I will go through 4chan. And 4chan is looking at Subnautica videos, trying to point out moments in Subnautica VODs where they think she was getting railed as well, which obviously are faceless. It's just her doing the same kind of bouncy, like, fussy noises every once in a while, which I think lends more truth to the fact that she didn't actually have sex on stream. But I think it's interesting how far people are willing to go
6
to try
hours.
to look this stuff
Everyone
up.
making these timestamps would claim that she was getting railed for over 2 hours on stream. So look, at this point, it's pointless to keep talking about this. You have to listen to it yourself to make up your own opinion. So let's do this. I'm going to increase the volume during editing on these clips so that way you can tell what's going on, even if you're on speakers, because the people claiming she was getting
Do y'all need to rewatch these clips, chat, or am I gonna skip it? Yeah, do y'all need to rewatch these, or y'all good? I feel like we've seen this so many times for the past couple days, but, you know, I want to make sure. Even if you're in speakers, we good? Okay, good. All right, good. Yeah, thank God.
Counter arguments. Like, for example, this person would show this clip saying that, yes, this clip where she acted kind of sus was missing context because this is what happened prior. This is referencing the clip that got 10 million views.
They thought of concluding.
No, of course not. She wasn't even sex for 2 hours.
God, dude, am I reading some fucking, like, e-sex? What the fuck is going on?
Regardless, though, this had blown up beyond anyone's wildest dreams, but instead of addressing this on Twitter...
Oh, okay, I get you, Blue Brawler. Let me look. This is inadvertently created getting railed on stream meta, probably. Edit. Seems like the tweet around Deme, around 40, or 49 was fabricated. I cut it out as soon as I could. YouTube processing takes about 40 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay, I don't know what that one is. Edit for Lolly. I said that it represents underage characters. And oh, okay. Okay, so we did talk about that, right? Okay, yeah, I don't know what tweet that was. Thank you for pointing out, Blue Brawler. I was so confused.
Deme would actually take the decision to address it in her Discord, straight to her community. She would post an announcement saying, "I'm not really surprised that Chibi viewers genuinely believe I don't know what screenshot it was, so I don't remember. Nikita, her boyfriend, was literally streaming at the same time. They're literally trying to make
I did watch
this
last night,
POV.
but
you can't make this shit
I don't
up.
remember which one it was.
The points I've said, so they're doing a character smear campaign. Also, this was the time when we can hear each other during stream because he was in the bathroom. So to her, this was ridiculous. The guy was in the bathroom. She would never get railed on stream, and this was nothing more than an attempt to disparage her character. However, some people caught wind of that Discord announcement and actually decided to try and debunk what she was saying. This person right here would say, "I believe Deme is lying about the date of her Outer Wilds stream. She claimed it was August 10th, but during her stream, she opens Instagram and you can see..."
And this tweet was, for me, was what inspired me to go deep dig into the videos and how some of the dates were wrong on the VOD. But again, that's probably because she was in like a donathon, so it kind of all made sense.
August 12th. She was streaming on August 10th, but she was playing Battlefield 6. You can see the date on her desktop again. Her boyfriend was streaming on August 10th as she claimed.
If you want to let somebody get cracked on stream, there's websites for that, guys.
Stream took place on August 10th and not August 12th. August 12th being the same day her boyfriend has no stream VODs uploaded. I think it's because she's lying and needs an alibi for her boyfriend. This doesn't prove she did anything dirty on her Outer Wilds stream, but I believe it does prove she changed the date of the stream in her description, which is pretty sus in my opinion. Does anyone have another explanation? I'll happily correct myself if so. So now the detectives were on the case.
Oh,
but
you can cut stuff.
Deme's Discord post trying to explain to her community what's going on would somehow
you typically
backfire.
can't modify.
Because now the
you
narrative
can only
went from, oh, she was being piped by her own boyfriend live on stream, to the new narrative, which is, oh, she says her boyfriend was streaming at the same time? Well, that means she was being piped by someone else. She's cheating on him,
it's like, oh my God.
Yes, this somehow still managed to escalate to another level.
Many times you moved the goalpost.
Reached this conclusion is by linking the VOD of the boyfriend as Deme was streaming at the same time. They'd claimed that while her boyfriend was streaming the game Counter-Strike, Deme was being piped by another guy on the opposite room because she was screaming in the background. Watch it for yourself.
Of course, we already know because
Demi screaming the other room threw me off, man.
This.
Okay, that's my reasoning behind that, okay?
Now, look, the same person who tried to debunk Demi's behavior in her Outer Wilds stream by adding more context would again pop in with a post with over 5 million views saying that these allegations were incorrect. He had matched the time codes of both the boyfriend stream and Demi's stream and concluded that her screams had nothing to do with getting piped.
Which a lot of people mistook what this proof was. A lot of people were like, oh, well, she still had sex on stream. And it's like, well, okay, that part is not technically disproven by them streaming at the same time, but this cucking part is definitely disproven.
To argue that at the same time this was happening, this is what was happening on Demi's stream.
It's actually from before, right? They're just, I don't think, the only thing that can kill me is I can't do this! I can't do this! I can't do this!
So, I mean, it's clearly lined up. We dove into this a little bit ourselves, so let's go look at the apology section, chat.
So by June 16th, barely just a few days after this had began, Chibi would make a tweet saying, "I feel this is important to say. If Deme actually offered me a sincere apology, I'd accept it on the spot. I believe in forgiveness and goodwill. However, apologies are hard nowadays because of pride and ego usually gets in the way."
Which, I will say, Chibi, you also gotta live by your own words on that too and apologize that you started it. You know, like, or at least apologize that you maybe misinterpreted or or lack of reading, whatever, right? Like, you need to apologize as well, dude.
Especially if you're a content creator. So again, as I said earlier, to Chibi, he was the real victim here and Deme was the aggressor. If she had simply just apologized, then none of this would have happened. He would also comment on all these viral clips of that Outer World stream, saying, when it's multiple examples of her getting railed, it's no longer just an act. We don't have complete definitive proof, but it is damning.
I mean, at least he says
Of
it's
course,
not
this
definitive.
would lead to some people saying we don't have complete definitive proof, so it's fine to call Chibi a pedophile then. Just the usual back and forth that you find on this website, but you get the point. To Chibi, she was 100% being piped on stream, and it further showed just how bad her character truly was. But this simply wasn't about her brand or VTuber model anymore, because now this would escalate
people are
further by
body
including
shaming.
the way she looked IRL. Yes, this image shows Deme in real life. A Twitter user would make a now deleted post, I'll explain why it's deleted, but they would make a post attaching this image and calling Deme a whale, right? Attacking how she looks, body shaming, etc., etc. Now, what would happen next was unexpected, I think, to many, especially the poster. Asmongold would come in.
Yeah, we already talked about this part with
And would get almost
Asmongold.
1 million views, and he would get a lot of hate for it. His own community was fairly outraged over the fact that just 2 months was away.
I'll go through this because we've already talked about all that.
Lol. This person would then end, most people on here, I am not sensitive. He is allowed to roast me, as I will him. And yeah, been done. She had not going to be talking about her body too long because something else would sprout out during this whole radioactive mess. Some
Every
people would find
possible
old tweets
thing.
of hers, like back in March 2023, in which she said, I have BPD, which stands for
I'll
Borderline
absolutely
Personality
cipher.
Disorder. She would say, I'd
will
like to
never be
apologize
able
for
to shake
sometimes
it,
in a way
unfortunately.
sabotaging my own growth
It
in Twitch,
sucks.
YouTube, and TikTok. I'm not good with change, to be honest, so when chat starts to be different,
Yeah, that was
etc.,
a
I kind of
rare
freak out mentally, trying my
Asmon
best to be better.
W.
Much love. So this person would write an entire post of 12 paragraphs, garnering over 3 million views.
And we
attaching
talked
this
about this in great detail with
we
Vicky
just saw,
yesterday, if y'all recall.
a tweet addressing it, and she kept it very short, saying, if I was crazy enough to fuck on stream, I'd
Vicky, of course, talking about her BPD as well. How a lot of that stuff was just misinformation and also painted a really bad
at least have an
stigma.
OF
I encourage you to watch the VOD from yesterday about that. It was really good.
debate engagement skull emoji. Stop forcing your cuck fantasies on others. My ass too fat to move that little. This would garner millions of views, but it would also garner many replies. And I mean, it's really mixed here. Looking at the top replies, one can say that genuinely half of them are siding with her and half of them are going against her, saying, yeah, dude, we have enough proof to
I
deduce
would
that
say
you were
it's
actually
50-50.
doing it live on stream. As this was happening, Chibi would tweet this, saying, hold up, is it true
Twitter
she's deleting
responses
tweets to
right
hide
there.
evidence now? This all could have been avoided if she didn't double and triple down. My mask off ability is stronger than ever. As this was going on, he would do something that he always typically does whenever there's a conflict or drama surrounding him, which is post a screenshot of his stats, saying my stats on Twitter.
I don't understand this. Like, what? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit more like traditional in that regard, but like, who cares? How much money you make? Like, nobody cares.
7 days, showing that he's gotten over 17 million impressions, which also means money since he's monetized on the website. Now, Deme
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's just
post
like,
anything
yeah,
for around
literally
more than
the
24
meme, weird
hours
flex,
since she
but
would make
okay.
that post about how if she really wanted to get railed on stream, at least she would have an OF account. And then on June 17th, she would decide to make this post, saying, I was ready to genuinely take this to the ground because of the
Right,
idea
so
that
here's the
why should I ever
apology.
feel bad being rude to someone who's a piece of shit? But after some reflection, the thought occurred to me, do I really want to go as low as him though? And the answer was no.
Yeah, I don't know if I would look at it as like proof you're right. I just look at that as you were part of drama, you know?
I said what I said because I personally think that there is no scenario that a friend group chooses the side of a fiance that cheats. I can't even fathom friends siding with a cheater. However, would I have brought it up if I knew that he was suicidal because of it? No. I admitted it in the previous tweet, so why didn't I apologize? Because he's this and that.
I just realized something. Oh my god. I'm bouncing my leg up and down and my model's kind of going up and down. And I'm like, oh, does it look like I'm having sex on stream chat? Oh no, I'm getting canceled next.
That blah blah blah.
That's
But
so
I thought
funny.
about it, and that kind of ideology is quite harmful. I knew I was wrong, and I admitted that twice.
Yeah,
but I didn't
imagine
apologize.
moving
So
on
after
stream.
reflection, I am sorry. I'm sorry for bringing up a memory that made someone suicidal. It was a low blow, even if I didn't know, regardless of whether he was intentionally being a piece of shit. I don't want to stoop to his level. I'd rather be better and learn from my mistakes. So this was Deme essentially saying, look, I know what I did. I know I've already said it was wrong, but I didn't apologize. So at this point, I don't want to stoop as low as someone like Chibi. I do want to apologize. I had no idea that he almost left this planet due to this happening to him. So I'm sorry. I'll apologize, even if you were intentionally being a piece of shit. Now, Deme had reached this conclusion, right? She felt this was the right thing to do. There were some people who supported her, but for the most part, the replies were either littered with, this isn't a real apology, you owe Chibi more than that, and why did you apologize? Chibi doesn't deserve an apology.
Yeah,
Shortly before this
literally, that was
apology,
it.
Chibi would make this tweet saying, keeping it real and personal. I think the reason Deme attacked my personal life like she did was because 95% of the time people get away with it. You all have seen the tweets people have made about me, so the fact this blew up in the VTuber Deme's face is even a shock to me, and I know it is for her. Every post she makes has a shit ton of likes, but you're hard pressed to find a single positive comment defending her, and if you do, they are ratioed.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. So, for instance, like, I'm never gonna typically use Twitter as much of a argument when it comes to like likes and things like that. Like, I think I've learned over the years that's just not it, right? Like, oh, they're getting ratioed. Well, the thing about Twitter is the maddest people are the loudest. Most people now that know how Twitter works just don't engage anymore. They're just like, it's not worth their time. Yeah, they might get ratioed, but this is mostly due to the fact that, you know, the maddest people are the loudest, right? So I don't think using what's indicative of what's happening on Twitter is necessarily like a good indicator of what the general consensus is. On top of that too, like, you know, I went through a drama where I made my comments about Mizu, right? Mizu. On Twitter, yeah, they were, you know, I did have some support top comments, or a lot of people like, yeah, you know, call out this anti-trans stuff. I had a lot of people come after me, but then if you went on Reddit, I had a lot of support on Reddit. So I think, I don't know. I think just using Twitter is like the basis for the truth is, it's shaky.
Now, I'm not saying she's botting, but I know others can push bots on someone's post. It's not normal for a post to get that many likes, like 99% of the comments totaling hundreds or even thousands disagreeing with the main post. But on to the real
I don't
point,
think
I
she's
legit have
botting.
so
I
much
just
hatred
think
that
that, like,
truthfully these last few days have been nothing.
it's big
Nothing
news,
compares to
so
the
it's
real life
blowing
pain I
up.
experienced months ago. The worst day I had is behind me, and I have grown mentally stronger because of it. It's just funny seeing how I could cause a massive crash
That's
out
gonna
on
be
this
my next
scale
stream
for
title.
someone that is more successful than me. Anyways, just my throwaway thoughts on this entire situation was the extremely rare miscalculation that I didn't even expect. So here Chibi was pretty much, I guess, gloating that this had blown up in Deme's face, even though she's more successful than him, while also kind of accusing her of
Yes,
botting, or at least her
exactly,
community of
Cypher.
botting.
Look at
So
all the
her
people
post
that supported Chud the Builder.
get way
I
too
mean,
many
that was
likes compared to how many
insane.
people are willing to defend her in the replies. What do you think? Are they bots, or are they simply employed? Up to you to decide. Upon seeing the apology, Chibi would make this tweet, saying, after days of doubling down, Deme has finally decided to apologize to me at the end of her latest tweet. Before she did that, however, she made sure to call me a piece of shit, along with a few other things, despite saying she won't stoop low. Progress, I guess. So to Chibi, yeah, she did apologize, but it wasn't really an actual, real apology, but hey, at least it's progress. A few hours later, he would make another tweet, saying,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about Deme's response to him. Like, well, at least it was something, right? She did personally
an apology
DM
that called me
you.
a piece of shit and she will never stoop low. Deme went on to posting this on her official Discord, saying the apology was never intended for me. However, prior to the Discord messages, she privately DM'd me on Twitter apologizing. So this means her private apology to me in DMs wasn't sincere at all, which is why I am showing it. So this was the screenshot of what Deme said in the Discord. I'm going to read it
What
out.
you
She
talked
said,
about?
I'm seeing a lot of messages here in the Discord. Please. Crying emoji. It was never for them. Shit, while making you remember something that traumatized you, I had no idea when I made that first message. So look, objectively speaking, right, Chibi is wrong here. He'd say Deme went on to posting this on her official Discord.
This is why Chibi is upset. This is why Chibi is upset. Because Mujin made an objective call right here and said Chibi's wrong. That's why he's upset. Let's roll it back a little bit.
Well, look, objectively speaking, right, Chibi is wrong here. He'd say Deme went on to posting this on her official Discord, saying the apology was never intended for me. I'm pretty sure he's referencing the first paragraph here, her saying it was never for them. I'm pretty sure here she was saying that this apology wasn't for anyone who was trying to
Yes.
slander her name, anyone who was saying that she was
I agree with
getting
Mujin.
railed, anyone that was calling her a hypocrite. She would specifically say, look at any of their profiles and realize that I angered the group of people that I would have banned in my chat anyway, literally. Maybe Chibi's referencing her last sentence. I did this apology not only for me, but for my community to be able to move on. But then she would specify, I personally think I can genuinely think someone else is a piece of shit. Here she's referencing Chibi.
Yeah,
while
like,
realizing
I
I'm
mean,
in the
she
wrong for doing
specifically
something too.
says.
Someone would reply to Chibi's post saying, I still wouldn't trust it, but that's me. And then Chibi would say, she straight up admitted it wasn't an apology to me with these posts, so there's nothing to trust. Again,
This
I
is
would
why he's
think
upset.
that most people looking at this
Dude, but like Chibi, like, it's okay to look at this and be like, you know what? Yeah, I get it now. I was wrong. Like, you know, you're not going to be seen as weak for, you know, being wrong. Like, dude, we're all wrong. I'm wrong all the time. You have to grow as a person, right? Like, you have to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. If you are not willing to make a mistake and grow from it, well, what's going to be left of yourself when you turn off the computer? Like, at the end of the day, right? When even for me, I won't even use Chibi Reviews as an example, but for me, if I'm not willing to be wrong or learn to grow, and the day I stop becoming a content creator, what's left of me? You have to be willing to grow and learn and better yourself. If you're not willing to do that, there's going to be nothing left for you the day you turn off content creation, or even the moment you stop being on the internet for 5 minutes. You have to have peace within yourself too, as well, and you have to be able to bolster yourself as a person, not just as a content creator. And those are two separate things, by the way.
wouldn't really understand it the same way.
Sorry, Laura, being wrong makes you less of a man. You always had to be right. I mean, maybe that's why I don't understand. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's why I understand, because I am a man. Yeah, no, I get it. But I think that's why I don't understand. Maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Girls can be absolute bitches, and we will be very stubborn too, but it's probably not even like a sex-related thing, but I don't know. I'm not afraid to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
But regardless of whether she actually meant it towards him or not, Chibi was not
But 4
convinced. He
days
was
now?
not ready to let this die down. On June 18th, he would make a post saying, VTuber Deme has apologized to me, but do I
Yeah,
accept
4
it
days
or
now?
deny it? Linking a video and an image of Demi's model on the ukulele apology. At this point, though, people had already somewhat started to move on from this. But to the people who were still invested, there were many mixed opinions. She didn't mean this. She was forced to make this apology. Or she actually meant it. Or even if she didn't mean it, just move on already and get to something else. In this video of his, he would reiterate what he's already said on Twitter. The fact that this wasn't a real
Right.
apology, the
Which-
fact that her
which is
Discord
why I
message
watched it.
disproved what she was saying to him in DMs, while giving a full 17-minute
Yeah, like I said,
recap
it's
of what happened
not
so
a
far,
sex
and of
thing.
course referencing
It's just
the
a
whole
funny
idea of her getting
comment.
railed on stream. Watch.
Trying to retweet NSFW of her model, very saying
I'll skip
live
this.
stream.
We
You gotta
already
say
watched
stuff
it.
like that. You know what?
It seemed like Chibi was not backing down from this. He was still using the same talking points, simply reiterating them on the video, while also insisting that other than the Discord message making it sound disingenuous, she couldn't even say the word sorry in DMs, she could only say my bad.
Which again, my bad is
Again,
sorry.
proving to him that this wasn't real. He would then end his video by saying this.
Her. That's content creation. The internet will not let you forget. So even if she was to apologize to me, people, that wouldn't be enough for them. Even if it was enough for me, it wouldn't be enough for them. But
Yeah, that's true.
I will say, if she genuinely does want to apologize, I will accept an actual apology instead of these backhanded, back and forth things going on, trying to label me a piece of shit just for being weird. It's just.
But she can still apologize to you while not liking you. Again, they don't have to coexist.
All this started from me calling you a virtue signaler. I would like to remind that. So,
For Chibi, the
I mean, he actually said it right here. It all started from me calling you a virtue signaler. Like, he admits, you know, it was started on that, right?
narrative had not changed here. He was the victim, she was his aggressor, but if she's still willing to make a sincere apology to him, he's willing to forgive her. What do you think of this? Is he right here, or is he moving the goalpost to the point where Deme can never win? Now, speaking of Deme, it seems like she genuinely moved on from this and isn't interested in pursuing it further. On June 18th, the same day Chibi would post his video.
Actually, no, that's not the case. I saw her Instagram from 12 hours ago, and she said, I was sort of taking a screenshot, by the time I tried to go find it, it was gone. She talked about it a bit on Instagram in her stories.
She would tweet out, I have never had this much compliments with how I look before. I've always been insecure with being a bigger girl and struggled to lose weight because of EDS and PMOS. Maybe I'll send an update photo of my progress since a lot of people are liking old tweets. This would get a lot of attention, and yet again, the replies will be very mixed. On one hand, they're not willing to let her forget what she did to Chibi unless she apologizes, and on the other, well, they were just being gooners, okay? And with that, congratulations, you're all caught up on this absolute radioactive mess.
I'm gonna stop it here because, or actually, wait. No, it's just a few more minutes. I'll play this part because, Mujin literally says the wrap up of the century
Here's
here.
hoping it doesn't progress further.
Yeah, this literally,
Alright,
is exactly what is truly and honestly happened. It's kind of nuts. What's up, Jack? Thank you for the raid.
If I had to compare this to something, I would compare it to World War I. You know, history books tell you that World War I started because Austria's Archduke, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated. But after 4 years of one of the most brutal wars in human history, after millions dead, do you think anyone in 1918 thinking about the war was like, oh yeah, I remember how it started? No, it had escalated to something so crazy that it didn't really matter how it started. And that's the same exact thing here. How did this thing start? Who cares? This had blown up past the stratosphere with allegations against Deme that she was being railed on stream. This was never about what she said to Chibi or her not being okay with NSFW art of her that involved her getting railed. Look, a few years ago, this would have been petty D-tier level drama, but if you've noticed, especially since the beginning of this year, dramas, no matter how small, seem to be dragged out and blown up way beyond proportion to the point where it doesn't make sense anymore. I don't think it's purely just because people have a thirst for drama these days more than usual, but I also think it's due to this logic, with this person right here quote tweeting
Goon
the clip where
propaganda.
allegedly Deme got railed, saying, I'm choosing to believe that Deme is an exhibitionist and got cracked on stream, not because it's true, but because it's funny. Sometimes believing in something is just way funnier than not.
And this is it, right? I'm choosing to believe that it's true. Not because it's true, or I'm choosing to believe that Deme is exhibitionist and got cracked. Not because it's true, but because it's funny. This is literally like the epitome of
believing in it. And I'd say if I really had to explain why this blew up to the point where it did, it's because of this logic. And if you ever needed a reminder as to why you should never download Twitter if you don't have it on your phone, then I think this video served its purpose in that regard.
Yeah,
So,
it
thank you
actually
so much
did. So let's go back and look at what Chibi said again and see what we think about this. All right, chat? Here we go. Such a disingenuous video and thumbnail with multiple points being flat out wrong. Which points? Even the thumbnail is implying Deme never posted issue to me on. Okay, he has a problem with the thumbnail, but that wasn't the intention of the thumbnail. I also conveniently painted the drama as if Deme never said, didn't you get cheated on? But that wasn't. That's the main reason everything happened. Actually, but funny enough, I actually pointed that out. Chibi said that the start of everything, why it began, was because he pointed that out. It wasn't this. By Chibi's own words, he said the main reason was he pointed that out. But again, even if this hypothetically was not true. Mujin did point out that line. Didn't get the story right. Yeah, I mean, he did mess that up, but it's a quick fix. You're sure making a turn you're sure at every turn to make me look as bad as possible, biased to give people the impression I'm a borderline criminal pedo. Guys, I gotta be real, I disagree with this. I think that he disagreed with it. Yo, Persona, thank you for the gift card. Let's go. Thank you so much, Persona. Thank you so much, QD. Well, I gotta add some time, chat. Hold on. Let me ask you a question, though. Do you think that the video did this? Yeah, do you think the video did this, chat? Legitimately. Thank you so much, Persona. I appreciate you. I don't feel like it did. I really don't feel like it did. I feel like he disagreed with him at one point, right? There was one point that he said, I'm not okay with this, right? Like, you know, you're objectively wrong here. This is why. That was the one thing. And I think that really just kind of sent Chibi. I think at this point, here's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for everybody just to fucking move on at this point. Like, I really hope that Chibi can understand what he did wrong. I don't think there will be an apology ever, but I hope, like, you know, behind closed doors, he's like, yeah, I fucked that up, you know?